Yes, baby. We here. Let's do this thing. What's up, boys?
Ooh.
Oh, shit. I blocked my meter.
Stop blocking meters.
I have to have both YouTube and
Dude,
Twitch chat
how
up
can we
here.
move the needle if you block the needle?
The needle or the
for that.
meter?
I figure there's a needle on the meter to.
There probably is.
You know what? Maybe
Not good.
maybe John's got one of those like big thermometer things where you keep filling it in every donation you get, and he's just got like a little guy there, and he's up and down, up and down.
Like the price is
I always thought,
Yeah.
when I hear meter, I just worry about feeding the meter. I don't want a ticket.
No ticket. No, you don't.
But we don't have parking meters up here in Rockland. We still got the guy that walks around with the chalk and he marks.
Chalking the tires?
Yeah.
You ever go out and wipe the chalk off?
I hate that guy. Yeah, we'd always go out and wipe off the chalk all the time.
So Maki, when I worked in Arlington Center at the CVS there,
Yep.
the parking in that area was 2 hour, and the guy would go by and chalk it, and we'd all just go out and go, "Hey, chalking the tires, let's go wipe them off."
Just wipe it all off, baby. Absolutely.
You got to do it smart though. You got to do it because I saw a guy go out and he did it with a sponge, and the cop walks by and goes, "Man, your tires are not that clean sitting here."
Yeah, in that
Yeah,
spot. There's a strip this wide that they're clean.
Yeah.
But
You gotta
it's
just
funny
kinda
because
do it with a regular rag kind of thing.
It's-
Just wipe it away.
Yeah.
it's funny that regular guy that used to come by ended up buying a car for me later, like 10 years later. Just randomly came into the dealership, and I was like, "I know you," and he's like, "I know you," and we figured it out. I was like, and I told him, I was like, "I used to wash that off." He goes, "I know."
But you know what you do? You park in the middle of the space, right? And if you got enough room, you just go out, move your car ahead a little bit. It covers the line. Move it back a little bit, covers the line. You get done, you get a whole yellow line around your tire.
And this is what happens before we flip the curtain every week.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, this is pre-show madness.
And
First
all
off,
kinds of
before we begin
stuff.
this, we have to give KD a shout out as he subscribed for tier 1 for 36 months over on Twitch. Thank you, KD. We also have a combined 10 bits from Mop Boy. What's
my
up?
boy.
What's up, Jen? KD, obviously, Lucas, Queen, Mop Boy, Mr. Fourth Row. I saw Mr. Happy in there somewhere. Oh, wait, no. Mr. Happy is on YouTube along with Lucas Bradwell, Mask Ranger, and Zamore over on
Big
YouTube.
Z.
Mr. Happy's over here too on Twitter. He's my favorite clown.
And I think
He's in all the places.
Yeah, he is. He's in my
Hey, coach,
basement.
He
He's
could be in your place too. You never know, bro.
probably.
all right.
It's okay though. I'm all right with it now.
There's got to be an easier way to do this.
It's a little weird when you wake up and see it, and he's standing over you while you're sleeping, and then you blink and he's gone. But
Just kind of looking down. What's
Yeah.
up, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And then you look back and he's just poof,
mhm.
thin
All
air.
right. We got a hype train coming in close. We have Lucas RMP gifting the tier 1 to Mop Boy. 4 minutes and 10 seconds left before we possibly hit that hype train over on Twitch. Really
Lucas in the
appreciate
chat
you guys. What's that?
letting us know that Mop Boy is an RMP alum.
Yes, he is.
Fantastic, dude. Thanks
Very
for
good.
tuning in for the show, man. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. We got Queen over on YouTube now, which, by the way, guys, if you are on YouTube, if you don't mind hitting that like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any live show, whether it's Dudes of Belts, Rocky Mountain Pro Ignition, or episodes of Charged every Tuesday night, which we will remind all you guys the new schedule of shows and stuff at the end of the show, because there is going to be some changes starting next week.
Mop
Or
Boy
this
was
week.
also a former Charged general manager, too.
Facts.
Wasn't just an alum.
Oh,
Hey,
we got Poppy.
Presidente Peligro.
Presidente,
Hey,
What's up, Dean?
our former Tuesday night dude. We miss him.
Dino, we do miss him on Tuesdays.
It was
days now?
Tuesdays. It was Tuesdays,
Tuesdays.
and then now it's Thursdays. And
It was a tea day. It was
Yeah.
definitely a tea day.
you miss them on the day of the week. That
I miss Danger every day.
right.
Any day I get to talk with my fellow Ninja Turtle fan is a good day.
Fact.
All right. Let's not waste any time here. Let's get right into the intros, and we'll talk about what's going to be going on in tonight's episode here. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Dudes and Belts Wrestling Chatcast here on Twitch and YouTube. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop, as always, and boy, do we got a show to dig into tonight. We have some special guests coming in about 15 minutes or so. It's going to be a good time tonight. You're not going to want to miss anything that happens on this show. Before we continue on with what we're going to be talking about and what we're going to be doing, let's introduce the panel for tonight. On the top left, we have the one that lives way up there on the east coast of Maine, the inventor of the lighthouse grading system. Not lighthouse grading system. Holy smokes.
Well, I did invent that too.
You did invent that too, but he is also the inventor of the beacon of the week, the one and only Coastal Crusader.
Everybody, what is going on? We're coming off Aces Wild. We had some big bets. We had some people go all in. We had some people, bust, and then we had some people hit the jackpot. But if the RMP faithful are the house won. Just how it is.
That's how it always is. The house always wins. Facts.
Thanks, Coastal. You stole my line for the intro. Damn it. I was going to use that.
Great minds, homie. Great minds.
Yeah, fact.
On the top right, we have our resident masshole himself, the one and only Marky Pins.
What's good, everybody? The chips were down on the table this weekend, and Rocky Mountain Pro came out the winner. Titles changed hands. A lot of titles stayed with. And what a main event that we got. Craig Farrelly showed us what the heart of the lion really is all about in RMP. Comes from Kansas, brings it to Denver, and leaves David Drake with a little emotion on his face. And we're going to talk about that in just a little while.
Also a limp, too.
A little bit.
You guys saw that.
Yep.
And on the bottom, for the first time on YouTube, you guys are seeing this guy. But for everybody else on Twitch, you know who he is. He is the Sunday Night Savior, the other Jeff.
Hey, you guys. So, I mean, this RMP roster is full of aces, and these aces went wild here at Aces Wild. So I can't wait to get into it. Every match was a banger, and everything had something to go forward to. And now there's questions of what's next. And as we lead into Never Broken, what's next?
And of course, also he will also be making his debut tonight over on YouTube, and you guys will get to know this guy very well, I am sure. He is the Infinite One himself. Triple I will be joining us later on tonight.
Yeah, boo. Yep.
I was expecting you to rain him down.
How?
True.
How? He comes in with decent analysis. Every once in a while, he takes us like one of them giggle stupid pills, and kind of it's half funny a lot of the time. So
hey,
you
guys,
appreciate the comic relief of the situation.
Hey guys, look, the tag champs are in chat.
They are.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's where the booze. Yeah, that's where the booze are coming from.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, if you didn't get the hint, we are going to be reviewing everything that happened on Aces Wild this past Friday night. We are also going to be joined by the founder and still reigning NRW champion, Mercury Yaden, as well as a very special guest. He is... Actually, you know what? I'm going to be nice because I think Coastal has a nice little intro for our special guest. Why don't you go ahead and spit it?
Well, we're going to be messing with the real deal now, everybody. He's coming. He's the greatest WWE Eurocontinental Champion of all time. A fellow UMaine alumni like the Coastal Crusader himself. The one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Dlo Brown.
And I figured I'd give that to you because you and Dlo are both alumni of UMaine.
That is correct. He's a black bear like myself.
How did he do that for years without like wrenching his neck, guy?
He had a stronger neck. Lifting weights, things like that.
All right. So, yes, we will have Mercury Yaden and Dlo Brown join us in the discussion as well. We are going to be doing something special for this occasion, of course. For everybody who is watching on YouTube, if you want to ask Dlo a question from the chat, you will have to put up a super chat or a sticker of some kind with your question attached to it. And we don't care about the amount too much. Obviously, we are very open. We don't break the banks of our fans, obviously. So any super chat or super sticker will definitely work if you want to ask Dlo Brown a question. However, if you are on Twitch, you just have to be a subscriber. which I know a lot of you guys are over there on Twitch, so I'm not going to have to worry about it too much. You guys are all monthly subscribers. But this is specifically for everybody on YouTube. So that's how we're going to do that portion of the show, which will probably be towards the end of the show because we do have a lot to talk about tonight. And we are going to be holding off on the Aces Wild talks for now because we want to wait for Yaden and Dlo to be here because they want to talk about the show as well. They were both there. So they want to have their input. So we're going to give them that opportunity when they show up. But at least for right now, we need to talk about next week's show. We all know
Yeah, we should spit that.
Yeah.
Another top 10.
So somebody redeemed that huge ungodly amount of channel points about a month ago.
Do it.
Bro, it was 500,000. Who had 500,000 channel points and wanted to see us go head to head or nose to nose with a top 10?
Well, it was under the Rocky Mountain Pro Twitch account that redeemed it. So I don't know who it was who was in control of said
I've
account
already
at that moment.
claimed that it wasn't me because I was paying attention to other stuff.
All right, it's going to be an awesome show. I think it really is. This is a very broad topic, so I think we're not going to get so many double ups like we used to.
True. No one knows Aces Wild like Johnny knows Aces Wild. Oh, here we go. Here's all the puns. We got Lucas RMP. He actually knows quite a lot. Poor Johnny. Okay.
Had a hell of a match last night, though.
Johnny
That tag team
Casanova.
match was amazing.
What do you
It was
mean,
Johnny
poor
Cat-
Johnny? He's still a tag team champion. What do you mean, poor
Yeah,
Johnny?
he is.
He walked out. as a
He's got the belts, man.
Great match. Awesome match. POS helped quite a bit, but really, really good match of the night. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Nice. I meant nice.
Johnny Casanova.
Oh, God.
I'm pretty sure that POS went to the same law school that IRS went to for accounting school. I'm pretty sure that was
Right.
like, they were joined in there. Like it was like dual, majors or something.
So,
Yeah, I think it was one of them multi schools, like a trade school or something.
So next week we are going to be doing another one of these special streams on Sunday nights where we dedicate our whole entire life to this top 10 list again.
It's not
Yeah.
that bad.
And if you guys have seen our past top 10s, you guys will realize pretty quickly why we don't do them no more.
They were fun for like 8 minutes, and then we did them for 6 months.
So we left the RMP faithful have the opportunity to voice what they want us to do a top 10 list about. And I believe it was actually the founder of Rocky Mountain Pro himself that mentioned top 10 wrestling upsets. So that's what we're going to be doing next week. Somehow we're going to figure out a way to devise a top 10 list of top 10 wrestling upsets in the history of
It's
the
going to be a
business.
top 10 filled with Barry Horowitz and Bastion Booker and the 1, 2, 3 kid.
You know what's interesting is that out of all the top 10s that we did, great, male superstars, female superstars, entrances, musics, venues,
WrestleMania matches.
all of those, we never once came up with this kind of a topic. And this is very much an individual thing to each one of us. Each one of us would call something maybe different than somebody else. I'm sure there's the top few that we'll all agree were wicked upsets, but then everybody has their favorites and their least favorite. And if that guy wins, to you, it's an upset. To me, it's not. So it could be very, very interesting to see where we all stand on what we considered upsets.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a jobber, and I use that term because it's not really, no one's really a jobber. Everybody goes out there and busts their ass, but it doesn't necessarily have to be an upset like that. It can be an upset of two superstars and somebody came out on top you didn't think was winning the belt that night or the match.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun time. I can't wait. Can't you
I
tell?
can't wait to
Can't you tell?
can't wait to me and Coastal scream at each other again.
I can't wait to moderate next week's show. This is going to be great.
Ding, ding.
We got a real ref in the call now too. I'll just wear my stripes next week just to officiate the situation.
I found mine, by the way. So I
Find your shirt.
yes, I might have to wear it next week, just in case I need to rip it out.
Two reps.
I'm going classic powder blue short sleeve dress shirt a la WCW.
I wish I had one with a dark blue bow tie. I wish I had that.
But you got to have the
that'd be great.
Nick Patrick curl mullet too to go with it. Circa like 1994 Starcade.
Actually, if I let my
God.
hair grow out like that, it does get curly like that. I could do that. Should be Nick Patrick for Halloween this year coming up. Actually, I might do that. Actually,
We could do a top 10 refs. We haven't done refs.
are there 10 we could? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there is this.
Sure,
more than
yeah.
Well,
10.
there's 3 Hebners. You're
True.
a third of the way there already.
2.
3.
Oh, no,
Where's-
Brian, the son.
Brian
The
Ebner,
son.
yeah.
That's right.
D
That's right.
Hort 13. Where is that OnlyFans, Johnny? Will you stop with the OnlyFans? It is coming every week. Every freaking week, I have to answer to you guys about the OnlyFans. We have not forgotten about the OnlyFans. We are not doing it in the goddamn winter. I am sorry. It is too
Easy,
cold
easy,
out.
easy.
So
Not flattering enough, is what you're saying.
June, July is where is
You
what
guys
we're
better pick
probably going to
August.
be
It's
doing
the
it.
warmest month of the year.
I promise you, it will happen. You guys will be the first ones to know. Okay.
You know what? I'll give up my seat to be the first one to know. For other people can know first. I'll pick it up on the news channels.
I'll just wait till that subscription dings my phone and they're live. Just be surprised.
But other people do
Why, you have
OnlyFans into
OnlyFans on your
winter.
phone already?
Yeah, but Mr. Fourth Row, that gives you an indication of what they're actually thinking about, which is making me reconsider a subscription. Just, you never know.
Yes.
Although we were here for that night when we raised all that money, so I think we're kind of bound by terms and conditions. We must.
Yeah.
T's and C's, man.
It's like a train wreck. You don't watch, but you don't want to really watch.
Just
'cause
be
you're scared of what you
thankful.
see, but you have to look.
Just
You're just wondering how much worse it can get.
just be thankful it's only a one-time payment.
All right, that's solid. I can deal with
Until
it.
they make enough money, and then you get that monthly recurring charge.
we were just talking about that the other day too. Like, what happens if this actually does go off?
No, you dicks are gonna put auto renewal on is the thing.
All of a sudden,
I-
yeah.
Hide it down in the little comment.
Shh, we're not
You
going to
guys
say
make 50
anything.
grand the first day.
TOS is writing the TOCs, isn't he?
God.
They're the only fans.
I already have a pic of Echo to add to the OnlyFans. Oh, brother.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure you do.
All right. Well, now while we're still waiting, I think they're only a few minutes away. We were gonna say this towards the end. We might as well do it now. Well, now that everybody's here and waiting for Yaden and Dlo to show up, so we can start talking about Aces Wild. There are going to be changes to the schedules of both Rocky Mountain Pro programming as well as Dudes and Belch programming. Run it down real quick. As far as tonight's show is concerned, as of right now, it stays the same. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's not going to change as of right now. That is subject to change possibly later on down the road, but not in the near future. As far as Tuesday nights is concerned, Charged will be airing at, I gotta do the math in my head real quick, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And the Dudes will be on at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So you guys are going to get over a 2-hour block on Thursday nights, starting this Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yes. Thursday, Ignition is going to stay the same. Same time, same place, YouTube. That's not changing. 6:15 start time over there. The Dudes will be on at the top of the hour at 10 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Because sometimes Ignition ends at what?
Nine.
Eastern time. It would
We're
be
on 10 Eastern.
8 Mountain.
Did I say Mountain?
You said Eastern. You said 8 p.m. Eastern.
I'm getting myself confused already.
It's confusing, right?
I'm trying to get back to the first shift, like getting up early and stuff right now. I just started that today, and yeah, I'm having a rough time over here. But, so, Ignition will be 6:15 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The dudes will be on at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
Yes.
Which means that Dudes and Belts Reignited will be on at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Did I get
That's
that
us.
right? That's us.
That's us.
Yes, actually, I
Over
can
here.
actually watch you guys. Yes, this has been the goal, believe it or not, for like 2 years. Been trying to get on first shift for over 2 years so we can block these shows together. Now that I'm finally on first shift full time, I'm going to be dragging ass the first couple weeks. I'm not going to be lying to you guys, but the shows will be blocked side by side, and everybody can watch us. And there's a good chance that we're going to have more dudes on the shows as well periodically from time to time. So, it all works out. So now everybody
Great.
can watch us, and we can keep going with what we're doing, and we can block everything so we don't lose people from time to time when we do these live shows, and everything's going to be peachy. So, thank God for that. And that's going to be your new schedule going forward for 2023 and beyond, hopefully.
I'm
Beyond.
not gonna lie. I love doing these shows. I love being a part of the faithful. I love being a dude, but I like sleepy time too.
Yeah, sleepy time would be great.
Yes.
As dad of two, I love sleepy
it-
time. It's necessary.
Put it this way.
Oh yeah.
These guys are going to be getting roughly, if you combine both Dudes and Belt shows throughout the course of the week, pretty sure these guys are going to be getting an extra 6 to 8 hours a week of sleep.
Score.
I have a 4-year-old. I'm getting an extra 3.
That's true. That's true.
But it's extra.
Very true, sir.
But it's extra.
Yeah. My body's not going to know what to do.
Extra 4 hours. That's like a whole night for you, dude. With a 40.
Yeah,
that's like
that's-
a whole
that-
other night of sleep.
And Lucas, yay, I can actually do recharge and get sleep, actually.
My body's not going to know what to do. So like, you're sleeping. What's going on?
I like it not have a gap, not as much as one for charge, recharge, and ignition and reignited. So the
Yeah.
decision for ignition and reignited was that sometimes ignition will end either like at, do math again, like 7:30 to 7:45 roughly Mountain Standard Time. So we figured if we just go live at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, it can be consistent enough with very little time in between for people just to wait around and stuff like that. So
Wait,
kinda how-
Kelly's going to be here. Kelly Dowdy's going to be here. It's north of the hour. Oh, was that Bud Bellflower? That was
talking
Bud
about?
that said
That's
that
Bud.
to us. That
That's Bud.
That was Bud. That was I'm sorry, Kelly. That was Bud that was talking about being north.
Kelly owes you a chop for that.
It's all right. I'll take it. I'll take it.
he's taken enough chops over his lifetime.
Well, it's ref on ref crime. Kelly's a ref too, so.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true. That's
Ref on ref,
true.
that's fine. We've had ref matches before. Sure, Kelly and I could put on a pretty good one.
Oh, the Earl Hebner Nick Patrick match. You remember that?
Oh yeah. I wish I didn't, but I do.
Sorry, Kelly. Excuse me, sir. Kelly's just like, how dare you? No, that wasn't you. That was Bud Bellflower. Came on and gave us a ration of garbage one time because we said at the top of the hour, and he was like, no, it's at the north or north. What language is that? I've never even heard of that one. And we went on and on about that, all that stuff. Sorry, Kelly. How dare I compare you to Bud?
I just figured the way that
My God.
Bud's accent and where he's from, he didn't like anything north of the hour.
I don't think he does. I don't think he
So
does.
while we're still waiting, they really should be on like any time. Like this is right around the time when they should be hopping on. Let's give you
Why don't we-
outside thoughts on Ace as well. As a matter of fact, we'll do this real quick. At the count of 3, guys, snap your fingers. Ready? 3,
Yep.
2, 1, go. Hey, look at that. We're purple now.
You said at the count of 3, and then we're purple now.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you went 3, 2, 1. You messed me all up. I'm so tired today. I'm so tired. It's been such a long
On the
weekend.
count of 3. 1, 2, 4.
Do we?
Shut up.
No. Yes. I
don't know what to do with my
My hands.
right now. Put it down.
Car
Ricky,
went
put
real
it down.
fast.
Put it down.
So since
He's
we are
landing
going to be talking about Rocky Mountain Pro tonight, we might as well go purple today. put on a recharge screen for the rest of the show.
On
Now-
Sundays and Tuesdays, we wear purple.
And now I lost my chats. God damn it. I hate this.
No, you don't. You just don't like technology.
Well, no, okay, so the restream chat over here, right, it has everything combined. But whenever somebody like subs or super chats or whatever, it doesn't pop up, so I don't see it. So I have to have the other two chats over here so that I can see the notifications and everything. Probably ran a long film study, something we at ASWA Rocky Mountain offer every other month after pay-per-views. They did say that they were just getting out of the film study, and they were already on the road. And they said they were going to be about 9:30 our time or 7:30 their time.
If I know them, they had to stop and get some food. They hungry dudes. It's just what happens.
Gotta eat.
Gotta eat.
True. So what do you guys think overall on Ace is Wild? We won't get into the matches quite yet.
More
until
of
they
the
come
same from RMP. I mean, it delivers top to bottom. It took you on a roller coaster of emotions, paced well. All the matches meant something. There wasn't a dull moment, really. Even the matches that didn't have super long-term storylines were still great to watch. Even like the triple threat that just showed up, that was great. As Dlo said, well, what's better than bonus wrestling? This had something for everybody. It had something for your super technical guys, high spots, and hardcore. It was great.
Mm-hmm. All the stars that you wanted to see and the matches that you wanted to see them in, and even some of the stars that couldn't make it there that night or were hurt or just couldn't be there. The matches that were had with the other stars were fantastic, and they were great. They weren't fill-in. There was nothing like that. Everybody went in and gave it 135,000%. And we saw some fantastic matches. The main event, like I said, I just want to keep singing Craig Farrelly's praise. This man has stepped up so large and has done so very well in an RMP ring. It's fantastic. All of the out-of-towners and the local talent in Denver at RMP just doing nothing but continuing to kick ass. Savior, what's your take?
It's right there with both of you guys. This, card top to bottom. There wasn't a lull. There wasn't the old bathroom break match. None of that happened. And what Coastal said, where, if whatever type of match you wanted to see, there was at least one of them on the card. So you could see it, you can enjoy it, and because not everybody has the same taste. Some people might look at this match and go, that's the greatest match, and somebody might say it was terrible, and vice versa. But no matter what, if you watch this whole card, you saw matches you liked. It was impossible not to.
There was something for everybody, that's for sure. KD, and we were going to praise this anyway, but KD's going to be the first one to do it. Got to give a shout out to former Lockets champ Miranda Gordy, who is currently injured, but I'm sure will be back soon and be gunning for her belt. I hope so.
Yeah.
Got a tall task ahead of her, though, because that crazy house got a lot stronger this weekend.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
All right, I'm just reading.
Salem's House of Horrors.
You can just say that if you want, Jeff. That's okay.
What's that?
About your internet being less than 100%. That's okay.
Yeah, it's just my internet on my end is like, so sometimes you guys talk, it cuts out here and there, just so if I miss something or I have to get it repeated, that's why.
It's gonna look like me on Tuesday nights. I drop out randomly occasionally.
It's been a little wonky because it's out snowing tonight.
Yeah, we got a snowstorm going on right now. So.
It's not snowing here. My windows look glazed. All we've had for 3 hours is sleet.
Oh.
I didn't even know we were getting snow today.
4 inches of ground. Yeah.
It's New England. Wait 5 minutes. It might be sunny, even though it's nighttime. You never know.
It's supposed to be it's supposed to snow here like overnight type of thing. Be a couple inches, like when the normal crowd wakes up in the morning, there'll be 2-3 inches on the ground.
Nice. I think that's the first decent amount of snow we've had all winter. Believe it or not.
I think so. It really hasn't snowed much.
Do you think Maine? You think lots of snow in Maine? We haven't had measurable snow yet in Rockland. It's all ice or dusting.
Yeah, I mean, usually around here we don't late January to through all of February is usually our big snow area around here. That's where we get hit with the most, but we usually have a few little bits here and there by now, bigger than what we've had. We've had a couple drops of two inches here or there, but I'm sure that this just means February is going to be terrible for us.
I hope not. Jeez. I hope not. It seems like
Snowy
every time
hurricane
it's
after
been
snowy hurricane after snowy hurricane coming our way.
Bomb
anything, I don't
cycle.
want that year.
Bomb
again.
cycle.
Nor'easter.
Bob Cyclone.
Nor'easter.
Yeah.
Nor'easter. That's all we get up here on the coast.
Listen, a couple of years ago, it was like every Wednesday or every Thursday each week.
Oh yeah.
We got like 10, 15 inches of snow every week.
That was, I think, honestly, I think that was longer. I think that was 2011. That's when I met Mrs. Coastal, and she lived an hour away. And every Wednesday, we got a foot of snow.
Well, we had two of those. Because 2011 happened because that was when I first started selling cars. And as a car salesman, when it snows, who goes out and cleans off and moves all the cars? The salesman.
Guys like
the sales department. Yeah, it's always fun. So the lack of inventory over these past couple of years that have crushed us, at least it makes the winters not quite so bad when we have 80 cars instead of 380.
That's a glass half full kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
But so that happened in 11 because that was when I first started. My first day of selling cars was January 10th, 2011. So my 12-year anniversary just passed of selling cars. But there was also one. I don't know if it was 2015, 16, 17, something like that, where we had something similar. Because that I remember specifically because my father broke his wrist during the first one. He stepped on. He was walking the dog, stepped on a little bit of snow that was covering some ice.
I remember that.
Yeah, and he snapped his wrist. So you know who took care of his driveway all winter?
Hi.
and we kept getting 3 feet of snow. So I remember that specifically as well.
All right, we have Nikki Laser snowing in North Denver right now.
Yeah, it's like winter and stuff.
North Denver. Oh, he means North Lake direction. I like North Denver, like way up. Like that's the North Pole, right? It's already like so far in the air. Is that the moon, North Denver?
It's true.
All right. I don't know how much longer we're going to wait. We might just actually start because we got 9 matches.
We can start the first couple matches. I mean,
yeah, we're going to do that. All right. So starting off, Aces Wire, ladies and gentlemen. We're now getting into the nitty gritty here. Leading off Aces Wild, we had the #1 contender match for the Lockettes Championship in the future. What we thought was the future. You'll find that out later on. But we had Lola the Adventurer going 1-on-1 with Lilith Grimm. And start with Coastal and work our way around as we always do.
This is a reuniting of opponents that we've seen over and over, but this match was different. This was both of them on their A game. Lilith came out and was ready to go. She has a different focus. We see the handshake with Lola. That was really nice. You know, it's something we didn't see out of these two before. And I think it made for a great match. Starts right up and Lilith uses her power. You know, absolutely just throws Lola into the corner and hits her with a hip attack. And right then, guys, I thought, well, this is going to be more of the same. This is going to be Lilith dominating. And it wasn't. Lola really has added so much to her repertoire that she now has so many tools in that toolbox. She did an octopus stretch tonight and somehow almost turned it into a crucifix pin. And then some weird stuff happens during this match, guys. We hear JC's music. Noelle runs off. She's like, I got this. And then about 5 minutes later, not even really, less than that, we see some smoke. Lilith hits the burning hammer, and that should be game over, and she's the #1 contender. And then JC comes out with a bloody chair. It looked like it had come out of a slaughterhouse. And then the next thing we know, someone is cranking Lilith in the back with a chair, and it's her friend, Noelle. Funny, Marky, we talked about how we didn't think that Old Salem was done with Noelle, and boy, were we right. Lola gets the win here, guys, and she becomes your #1 contender. Great for Lola. She has earned it. She's been on a hell of a roll lately. Marky, this is a different story for Lilith. Explain to me the betrayal and what that does to Lilith's psyche. We already have seen shaken a little bit.
Right. We saw it the other night. We saw like kind of Lilith go to that dark place in her own mind where she didn't realize what was going on. This is going to absolutely exacerbate that, in my opinion, honest. Lilith did everything she possibly could, went out of her way, went looking for Noelle when Salem kind of kidnapped her basically in the coffin and took her away at Shocktober. And this had been this whole like revenge redemption story that Lilith has been trying to save Noelle. And we thought it was there. We thought it was good. We saw Noelle kind of have spouts and bursts of things. Like when she saw Salem's picture and stuff, she regressed. But then Lilith managed to pull her back out of it. And we were hoping that this was kind of the end of that for Noelle, that she would come out and be with Lilith to show her that there's another way. You don't have to be under this trance. But I don't think it's something that Noelle is choosing, to be honest. I got to throw that out to the floor. I think this is a seed that's been planted by Salem Wolf that just like, it's one of those like unconscious reactions that you've been conditioned. And I think that went back to that torture of when she was taken away and brought to the asylum. There is still something festering inside of Noelle's brain, and Salem Wolf has complete control over her any moment that he wants. And having JC by her side, you know, having Lilith as a mentor for you, that's fantastic. But now if she's going to be on this side of things and continue to be this marionette, have the puppets and, you know, have her strings be pulled, at this point in time, JC there is violent for Noelle's future. But as far as Lilith goes, this is just going to mess her up in the head going forward. She does a great job in this match, gets that burning hammer onto Lola, should be winning this match. And then, like you said, that's when all hell breaks loose. And at the end of it, Lilith is absolutely betrayed by Noelle with the chair shot to the back. And Lilith is just a mess. You can see her when she gets up afterwards. Just her face she's somewhere else. She's just kind of looking around, trying to find an answer, see what's going on. I got a funny feeling that Lilith at this point is going to put all the good feelings aside. Now she's going back to Noelle. At least Noelle deserves some of it because she cost Lilith at this point. Xavier, we've seen this happen many, many times in the ring. What do you think Noelle's chances are here? But add into the equation Salem Wolf and JC at her back, helping her out.
Coastal didn't pick that up.
No, I didn't. I thought you were talking to Sunday.
No, Sunday. No. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
I meant to say Sunday. No, he didn't.
There were some cutouts there, so I was like, kind of I don't want to step on somebody's toes.
I think.
I don't know if you heard me.
I think yours is cutting out too, Marky, to be honest with you, because you were cutting out for me as well.
I got cutouts in there too, so the internet is wonky up here in the Northeast.
Yeah. It's wonky.
Me and Marky are 5 miles apart. So
what I was asking Sunday is, what do you think right now with Noelle kind of, you know, betraying, I think what looks like for the final time, betraying Lilith's trust and her friendship and her compassion? What do you think Noelle's chances are going forward of actually being able to dodge an infuriated warhammer of a woman in Lilith Grimm?
The only chance she has is to hide behind Salem Wolf and JC, because if Noelle gets fed directly to Lilith, Noelle will be eaten by Lilith. There is no chance. Lilith is just. We've seen Lilith do some stuff. She's a scary, scary opponent for anybody in the Lockets division when she's at her normal levels. She's up here now, and it's going to be disaster for anybody that gets put in her way. Because I believe we all believe that without distractions and betrayals, that Lilith would have won that match and become the #1 contender for the Lockets championship. And so we'll see going forward what Lilith's plan is, if she has a plan other than just destroy, to get back at the asylum, to get back at Noelle, JC, and Salem, and see. Well, we'll get to this later, but her revenge on the asylum might lead to a big reward if she can take down the whole asylum by the end with what we'll see in the second to last match of tonight. So,
well, I can tell you, it explains why Salem Wolf didn't really go after Noelle once Noelle left. This must have been planned the whole time, or to an extent.
Must have had that trigger somewhere in her. You know, you guys have like maybe you had her like hypnotized or something, and there was a certain trigger that you could turn her at any point. So maybe maybe Noelle didn't even know she was going to do that until that music hit. She goes out back, and then they use that trigger to turn her, and then she comes right back out and with that mask and betrays her friend.
You know, we hear about this in spy movies and stuff. Sleeper agents, they get hypnotized, and it's just a code word or something, a sound they hear, and it just everything flips. And I was reading in chat too what Lucas was saying about how maybe this wasn't mind control. Maybe it's just him allowing people to be comfortable. Maybe he's convincing Noelle and convincing JC to be comfortable with their darkness and telling them, hey, you can just let it out whenever you hear this, or whenever I'm around, it's okay to let the darkness out. Like, he's just letting them fulfill all their darkest, desires to eliminate people and gain success. And maybe they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong because Salem has told them it's okay.
It's like the song "Relax" from Zoolander. Just something that trigger hits. And, becomes an assassin. So
it's like how every time you hear "Sweet Caroline," you can't not go bop bop bop.
Yeah.
All right.
Did I say something?
I think I saw that comment in YouTube. I'll pull it up real quick because my chat disappeared again. I am not having fun with this restream thing right now. Bear with me, guys.
You're doing better than Marky's doing with the internet.
No, it's not the internet. It's just nothing's cooperating with me today whatsoever. Okay, I'm just going to go over here. KD says, could it be Noelle has been waiting for that moment for a while? Could be.
I mean, that is possible. It could be the opposite of what we thought. Where maybe she did want to do it. Maybe she went in and pitched the whole idea to Salem. Who knows? We don't know. We're assuming that Noelle's very young, and when people are young, they're very impressionable. And Salem has been able to grab the minds of stronger minds than Noelle. So my assumption is it was Salem that did it, but we don't know. Maybe Noelle could be the mastermind behind the whole thing for all we know. Noelle could be pulling Salem strings.
Do we even know anymore?
That would be on a level of manipulation I have never seen if Noelle is the one pulling the strings.
Be impressive though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, that'd be Marky.
I think I'm back.
Am
I back?
Yeah, you're back.
You're back.
Yeah. All right, yeah. All right, cool.
Did you turn it off and turn it back on again?
That's exactly what I did. Everything was frozen, and I just rebooted the thing, and we back.
All right, there we go.
Yay. Thank you, Queen.
I find myself smacking people with chairs when I hear relax.
Relax, don't do it. Oh.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
AD also hates the snow, by the way.
Snow is acceptable on Christmas Eve and Christmas, and then it can melt away forever.
Oh, no. You don't want that on Christmas Eve. That's traveling day. You don't need that.
Yeah.
Everybody comes to my house, brother. I don't travel.
Okay,
Snow is acceptable.
in your case.
Yeah.
Snow is acceptable 20 miles from my house. Anywhere that's 20 miles from my house is good with me. I can go see it if I want to, but I don't want it here.
All right, so speaking of snow, and because of the snow, Dlo and Yaden are delayed by an extra 20. This was also like 15 minutes ago. So
we'll see them in 2.5 hours.
Well, they're used to driving in snow down there.
Yeah.
All right.
Getting a little sick of snow in my old age.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Florida. I don't know about you.
I always swore I'd never do it. And the older I get, the more I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
we're never. Listen, there's no candlepin bowling alleys in Florida right now. We're never leaving.
Yeah, but if I scratch the right ticket, I'll go build one.
I'll tell you what. When I saw
one, and I know how to fix them.
I'll tell you what. Really quick. You have never seen a 300-pound plus man run as fast as he can to get his Mega Millions ticket than when he saw the winning number was sold in Maine.
I saw that.
Oh.
All
Saw
right.
that.
Let's do one more match.
Yeah.
We have a 6-man tag match. We have the OGs going up against the 3-ring circus. Let's talk about
Weird.
this one because this was a very weird but also very entertaining match.
Absolutely. We starting the same way, or are we going to let somebody else start?
We'll let Marky start. We'll do
Yeah,
the
go
rotation
here.
thing.
Yeah.
That works.
So the OGs come out, and Wonderland comes out, Happy 9 and Sin Bodhi, and things really start getting weird off the bat because Derek Stone goes in the back and grabs a replacement as
It's their Squire.
It was the Squire. People didn't know exactly who it was right off the bat, but they grabbed the Squire, and he seemed just as surprised as any to be in the match. Derek Stone gave him his cloak, and he came in the ring with the cloak on and everything, and immediately starts to get destroyed. The OGs kind of throw him to the wolves out there, and the 3-ring circus just kind of have their way with him. Happy starts out quick, gets a couple really good moves in, gets 9 in there, and the power gets turned up on the volume switch. And then Sin Bodhi comes in, and things really start getting weird for the kid because the kid gets down on his knees and kind of begs for his life, which is actually kind of smart if you really think about it, because these 3 guys, they're huge. The OGs are avoiding a tag at all costs. Niles Planquet and Lord Mitchell Taylor are avoiding this young man's hand in a tag in a plea for help to get out of this ring because the circus are just absolutely putting the boots to him. But then the kid has a revelation. The Squire has a revelation. He's in there with Sin Bodhi, and he goes after Bodhi's animals on his boot, which normally would be a big no-no because you don't know, first of all, where they've been, the last time they've been washed, or what could possibly be living on, in, or the soul that absolutely occupies them. But we now find out that those animals are actually attached to Sin Bodhi's consciousness. We see him rake the bunny rabbit's eyes, and Sin Bodhi gets hurt in the eyes. We see him pull the ears, and Sin Bodhi's ears just writhe in pain real quick. So he found the button, I guess you would say, the young man. And the OGs seem fairly impressed that he's doing fairly well against Sin Bodhi. We eventually get to a point where, there's just melee in the ring. The ref comes in on the side trying to block people out left and right. As he's getting Wonderland out of the ring, that is when the OGs attack, when Wonderland's back is turned. And we see all 3 of them, the OGs and the Squire, kind of go after Wonderland. We see the Squire go after Sin Bodhi. We see Happy and Niles Planquet, and we see Monster 9 and Lord Mitchell Taylor pair off. And in the corners, really, Wonderland kind of takes it really, really in depth. All 3 of these guys are really, really putting the boots to him. Then the advantages change when the OGs decide to go for the old triple punch. All 3 of them decide to punch all 3 of the Wonderland at the same time. And Wonderland gets out of the way, and all 3 of them just end up punching each other. It was a glorious moment. It was absolutely fantastic. They go down, Happy power bombs the Squire. After they get the Squire to kick, and actually Sin Bodhi gets a Squire to kick Mitchell Taylor and Planquet while they're down. And then Happy shows his appreciation with a solid power bomb right on top of the other 2 OGs. And then we get the classic Wonderland pose and the pin and the 1, 2, 3, and Wonderland walks out victorious after a very entertaining match. A great 6-man. You want to see the melee, you want to see the one-on-ones, but the OGs really looked like tonight either one of 2 things. Number one,
Friday
and
night.
boys, maybe you guys,
Friday night.
Oh, well, yes, Friday night. Sorry. We all rewatched it and we all made sure. But we see one of 2 things. Either the OGs are really, at this point, don't want anything more to do with Wonderland and they just throw the kid at him. Or 2, this was just one of those, hey, kid, time to pay your dues. You want to be our Squire? You're going to go do the dirty work. I have a funny feeling it was a little bit of both. Because since Sin Bodhi has been introduced into this, you can tell that's the extra element that the 3-ring circus needed to go against these other 3 guys in the OGs. Normally, Derek Stone is there. He's by far the big powerhouse of the 3, but he's unavailable to go tonight, and which meant Wonderland had the advantage from bell to bell. What do you guys think of this Squire, this new young man that they pulled in? You think they just kind of threw him to the wolves here? because the kid did pretty good for himself when he got the advantage. But,
Yeah, he definitely held his own for what it was and who he was against, and I mean, who he was against is the Three Ring Circus, including Sin Bodhi, and
right.
How do you like? It's one thing getting in the ring and squaring off with another competitor, and like you're gonna go at it, but when you look across the ring and you see Sin Bodhi, Mr. Happy, and Monster 9, that's gonna change like how you act and how you react. But I mean, I think it showed something when Sin Bodhi was in the ring and the Squire wanted to tag out, and Lord Mitchell Taylor and Niles Plonk, and I'm going to call him Plonk, would refuse to tag in. Just wanted nothing to do with Sin Bodhi, nothing. And
they ran away.
Yeah, right. And I get it. Coastal understands it completely. And but I think we've talked over all of our time doing Dudes and Belts and being part of RMP. We've talked a lot about the Three Ring Circus because they've been around this whole time. And we've talked a lot about them. But I think adding Sin Bodhi is a different level. It's a different piece to their puzzle that we didn't know they were missing, but I think now we knew that they were missing. We know it was a spot that was missing, and I think it's gonna change them. I mean, they still need to grow from it, but I think it's something that's gonna change them permanently for the better. I mean, for them. I mean, not for their opponents. But yeah, I mean, I thought the match was really good. It was very, very entertaining. I'll watch any match that has basically the Three Ring Circus and anything with Sin Bodhi, I'll watch, and it no matter what we say about the OGs, they're entertaining as well.
So I want to mention real quick before we get to Coastal, Katie has something on YouTube. Bodhi's Roadkill wrestling gear. You kill it, he stitches it.
That explains it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
That
and then
explains quite a bit.
Over
yes.
here on Twitch, I'm playing tennis a little bit over here. That Plunk dude punched off one of my dreads if you watch carefully. That's coming from Mr. Happy.
He needed something to ferment his wine a little bit more. So
he's making clown wine. I've heard of clown wine.
Clown wine.
Yeah.
He's trying to make money off you, Happy. You need some royalties off of that.
You do.
You deserve it.
Go ahead, Coastal.
Well, we're talking about Happy. He is the clown of 1,015 holds now, I'm pretty sure, because we saw, dude, he took the Squire's hand, and he did like 3 or 4 big arm ranks on it, and I mean, and then we talk about 9. He is still Monster 9, but now he is the more slimmer, trimmer Monster 9, and looks good. Looks amazing, and he is quicker and moves. You could just see it. He's driving more force behind everything because he's not as bulky. You know, he's not as big, and he could just get so much more leverage, I feel, on his. And then Sin Bodhi, just real quick, I really wish I had known about the stuffies a couple of years ago.
It could have helped you at Milestone.
At Milestone, because I can tell you, he can see you even if you don't move. That didn't work.
Dude, you were paralyzed. There was no way you were moving. You were paralyzed.
The T-Rex theory wasn't going to work.
No, the T-Rex theory didn't work. I am very happy to see that the Three Ring Circus got their revenge on the OGs, because we had seen they have been going back and forth for a while. I think it's still going to go because, Derek Stone wasn't there. I think they need to be at full force to really see a good match between the Circus and the OGs. So I don't think we're done. And they treated that poor Squire like he had leprosy when he wanted to tag. Man, I've never seen people run away from somebody so fast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the founder and reigning NRW champion, Mercury Yaden, and the legendary Dlo Brown. How's it going,
gentlemen?
What's going on, fellas?
Good evening, gentlemen.
You guys
Thanks
hear
so much
Dlo?
for being here, guys.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
awesome.
good. Make sure the mic's picking up everything good.
Yep. We just got done talking about the 6-man tag between the OGs and the Three Ring Circus. You guys want to talk anything? Give you a piece on that match before we continue on?
You were out there for it.
It was a fun little match, and I'm a big fan of Sin Bodhi and Three Ring Circus. I like what they bring to the table, and the OGs, man, old school KG vets. You know what I'm saying? And those are good guys there.
All right. So before we continue on, let's introduce the panel to Dlo, because I don't know if Dlo has met these guys face to face yet. He might have, he might not have. On the top left, I don't know where it is on your screen, is the Coastal Crusader, all the way up in Maine. Former UMaine alumni, by the way. I figured I'd throw that in there.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
The Bears.
Bears.
We have Marky Pins on the top right.
We doing, sir?
And
Good
we
evening, good evening.
have the Sunday Night Savior, the other Jeff.
Good evening, gentlemen.
And
Good evening.
we will be greeted with eyes very
Oh
soon.
boy, Dlo can't wait for that. I guarantee you.
Uh-oh.
So, and you can't see me. I'm Johnny. So
You can't see.
Oh, there he is. He's over here on the
John
other
Cena?
one. That's Johnny.
What?
You're not John Cena. I got you, bro. I see you right there.
all right. So let's continue on. We have a number one contendership match for a title of their choosing, guys, between Damon Ace and Bruce Wayans. We just got done with Marky, so we'll give it a Sunday.
So that's an interesting stipulation. Number one contender for a title they're choosing. I do like that. So everybody that holds a title in RMP has, is going to be on the lookout for this. But we see Bruce Wayans against Damon Ace, and we've seen these guys go at it several times. Charged Championship and others. But this one felt a little different. This one was a as you guys like to call it, a hoss fight. These guys are big dudes going at it, throwing haymakers, and giving each other everything they could. The start of the match showed how many times that they've been in the ring together, because they countered everything. From everything, neither one of them could get anything off, could get a move off, could gain any momentum right at the beginning of the match, because they both knew what the other one was trying to do. But then you finally get a quick little spot where Brucey hits a snap German off the ropes on Damon and gets a cover on him and almost a near fall, and that is when we kind of started getting some stuff going and started getting some back and forth going. We see Damon hit a Claymore kick, and then he's taking control for a while after that, and we know what Damon's like when he's in control of a match. You don't want to be on the other side of it. He's violent, he's brutal, pulls no punches, and he just keeps going at you and keeps going at you and keeps going at you. There was a spot where Bruce was trying to go for the prettiest elbow in the business, and he gets Damon gets the knees up. Damon puts Bossy up on the turnbuckle, and Damon goes for a superplex. Bossy fights him off. Then we see Bossy hit that second rope elbow. He's the second rope superstar, and gets a near fall there. I thought it was over. Damon gets up and ends up hitting a persona non grata out of nowhere, and Brucey kicks out of two. I thought we were over there. These guys are just, there's a reason why these guys have both fought at the top of the card in this company for a long time now. They can pull anything out anywhere. They can kick out of it, out of a lot. They're very resilient, very strong, very, 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 very top end guys. We see something Damon. I don't know if I've ever seen Damon go to the top and try to hit a big splash. And he goes up, there and hits it and gets two. And I think he thought that was going to be it. I think he thought, I'm going to pull this out of my bag that I don't really use. Go do something that Bruce would never expect. Going back to that, they know each other so well. So that's one thing that you're not going to expect from Damon Ace, and Bruce still gets out of it. Damon sets up for a ripcord clothesline on Boss after he gets kind of settled back in, and Bossy reverses it into a batarang. And again, we think it's over, but referee Spicer gets kind of kicked during the batarang, accidentally. Just Bruce spinning, two big guys spinning around, gets hit. Would have been a 3 count from what I can tell, but obviously referee down. Then Bruce has a little bit of a moment of weakness, goes and grabs his bat, and he's going to use it on Damon. He even tells a lot of the crowd to close their eyes while he's about to do it, which I thought was fairly entertaining. And there's Damon there sitting there, he's ready to take it. And Bruce thinks twice, drops the bat, goes to wake up the ref. Damon takes advantage, picks up the bat, hits Brucey, throws the bat out of the ring, grabs the ref, drags him over, covers 1, 2, 3, match over. Damon Ace wins and is now the number one contender for any championship of his choosing, which I can't think of anything scarier than that if I'm a championship holder in the company, because Damon is, we've seen what he can do. But yeah, I thought the match was fantastic, and out of all the matches we've seen between these two guys, I think this is their best one. And it's just, we see these two guys, like I said, put on shows with each other, with other performers. But this one was something special, and I was very happy to be sitting on my couch watching this one. So, what were you thinking on this one, Coastal?
You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, this match to me was all psychological. Yes, there were big bombs thrown in there. Yes, there were huge moves. We got to see Superfly Damon Ace, which reminded me of Jimmy Snuka coming off the cage there for a second. He pulled out so much stuff that we just don't see. The psycho kick, or that Claymore kick, and then the top rope stuff. This is how important it was for him to win this match and get his number one contender shot. And, the guy who I think he's going after is one of our special guests tonight. I have a good feeling that Damon has his eyes on Mr. Yaden over there. And we saw tonight still the everlasting effects of what David Drake has done to Bruce Waynes. Bruce doesn't know what to do right now. He could have won this match tonight. He could have hit Damon with the bat. Should he have? Probably, yeah. Honestly, Bruce has been on a slide lately, and even Atiba has told him, you got to change something. And I'm not condoning, using the bat by any means, but you know what? That was going to get him the win tonight. And tonight it was all psychological.
Friday night.
That's
okay.
But still, Damon understood what was going on there. He set up because he knew Bruce wasn't going to hit him. He basically called Bruce bluff and won. If it was a poker theme thing, he pushed all in on that bluff, and Bruce folded, pretty much. And now we have Damon Ace is the number one contender. And again, I think he's coming for that NRW title in Yaden, and I can't wait to see that match.
If you follow Bruce Waynes on social media, you'll see, and he's one of the best follows in RMP on social media. Go follow him right now. He did a thing where he was giving Damon Ace 12 days of heat, cutting a promo on him every day for 12 days in a row. Mentally, I do believe Boss was in the right place when he got in the ring with Damon Ace. We saw them tag together not too long ago, and we saw how well that went, about as good as a lead balloon would float, to be honest with you. However, it seemed as though tonight, Friday night, Boss was ready. For the first half of this match, he was on his game. He was quick. He was dodging Damon's kicks. He was getting in his elbows. He was getting it in, and he had good advantage in the first part of the match. Damon uses the power to take it over, and it was very, very back and forth. Damon pulled a lot out of the bag of tricks that we don't normally see. But in the end, it was Damon Ace that was willing to go that extra step that Bruce Waynes just wouldn't. And we've seen Bruce in the past use the bat, not necessarily in the match, but to get the crowd hyped up and to get things going. We've never seen him in that moment at the end. I don't want to call it a moment of weakness. I almost want to call it a moment of frustration at that moment, because I think he knew he had that match with the Batarang. He caught Damon, whipped him around 2-3 times. Spicer was in the way. Spicer gets knocked down. That throws a monkey wrench in the whole damn thing. So Bruce has a moment where he picks up the bat, thinks better of it, but then Damon Ace thought twice as better of it. Picked it up, used it, 1, 2, 3. Damon Ace is the number one contender for any title of his choosing. I think both guys here were on their games the entire match. However, just Boss would not go to that place where it would have got him that win. He had too much dignity, he had too much pride in the given situation. And Damon Ace is walking out because Bruce had too much pride to do that. Do I condone it if he did it? No. But I also wasn't in the ring fighting a 6'5" monster in Damon Ace. And this is a very scary thing, boys, with Damon Ace walking around with the number one contendership. And I know two guys that are in our call right now that may have something to say about this. Gentlemen, what do you guys think it's about now with Damon walking around with the number one contendership? Dlo? Mercury?
Well, I can tell you real quick that you guys' breakdown of the match was excellent, because that's exactly what I saw. I saw two guys who knew each other like the back of their hand. I've been on the call of several other matches, and that to me was the best match those two have had. When it came to Damon, yeah, he went to places that I've never seen him go, and I think that's a trademark of the fact that they know each other. You know, going into top rope, breaking out a Claymore kick, using offense that Brucey has never seen before, in hopes to get a flash knockdown. And then Brucey the same way. He was a little more aggressive, took less time, played around the crowd a little less because the intensity was there. That moment of indecision to me is what cost Brucey that match, because look, bro, I'm a heel. I'd have hit him with the damn baseball bat. To get off the slide, I'd have hit him. I'd have hit him twice. As long as the ref didn't see me, I didn't care. And that moment that Brucey was sitting there trying to see which way to go, you know, Brucey's never been the same since being in the ring with David Drake. He has not been the same. So yeah, it's going to be curious to see where he goes. But then now, and this, I don't want to speculate, but Damon Ace can pick his poison. He can go after anyone, any champion in Rocky Mountain Pro. Man, that's a dangerous wild card to have so much power.
How are you feeling, Yaden?
I feel pretty good. It's the best I've seen either of those guys look, but it shows you the difference between a guy like Damon Ace is willing to do anything to win. A killer instinct that Bruce Wayans has been successful here. You know, held the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship for almost a year and has fought his way up, but just doesn't quite have the same killer instinct that Damon Ace does. We all know that Damon Ace is a killer, and you know, the same type of instinct that David Drake has, obviously, is a killer instinct. Damon has it too, and Damon's been at it longer, and I could see that's where he eyes. Now, I know the speculation, and obviously he's even said it, kind of where his eyes were focused. But after what he's seen, and after what happened Friday, you know, getting to the top of the mountain is the most important thing. It's the biggest championship in Colorado, and that's the one that you want to obtain. So now that he's seen what he's capable of, he knocked off a former champion. I think it's time for him to set his sights at a David Drake, and how absolutely crazy would that be to see the two biggest killers in the company going at it. So I'm curious to see. I'm interested in seeing how that all plays out.
I mean, that's freaking, you know, King Kong Godzilla.
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, Batman, Superman.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's crazy stuff. Now that you say that, I would love to be there to call that match, because that would be one I'm going to get my popcorn ready, sit back and just chill, because that's going to just turn the lights out.
You might need a new ring after that.
You might need a new building.
You might need a new cage in front of you too. As well.
Right? Yeah. You need
That was
to be
a
little
cool
more
looking
reinforced
setup
in
there.
Yeah, the new setup's been great. A lot of people worked hard on that to get all that together. The new seating and the new setup. Yeah, it looks great in there.
All right. Well, speaking of Yaden, he had his match next, going up against Atiba for the NRW Championship, and I want to ask Yaden this first before we actually analyze this. What made you come up with a traditional style, like I guess amateur type wrestling match?
I wanted something unique for the NRW. As we all know, NRW's stipulations, everything has a special stipulation to it. It's all no disqualification. So when you thinking of the no disqualification, you know, you kind of go down the same road of the type of matches you're going to see. And I just wanted something different where, yeah, you still couldn't get disqualified, but you had the points. You know, you still had to be smart. You still couldn't just go nuts with doing whatever you wanted, because while you can't get disqualified, there were points on the line. So you might not get it thrown out, but you're going to lose points or give your opponent points. And I feel comfortable, obviously, in that style of match. But I also know Atiba felt comfortable in that style of match. We all know the shenanigans that he's been up to in the last few months. So I obviously had that in mind, as you'll see. And I thought it was something interesting for the two of us to kind of go back to our roots and where we started, and see who the better man was. So it just seemed like the right time for a match like that, because we've never really done one like that at Rocky Mountain Pro.
All right, Cole. So we'll start with you. What'd you think about this being showcased on Rocky Mountain Pro?
I loved it. I really thought it was an interesting way to see two guys that we see in the ring all the time that we have seen go pound for pound, and now we get to see a different side. And Yaden was absolutely right when he talked about this match earlier in the week. He said about how he knew there was still some traditional wrestling in Atiba. He's absolutely right, because Atiba surprised me in this. I didn't realize how good of an actual amateur style wrestler Atiba is, and he goes up early in this. And I don't think he shocked Yaden, because Yaden knew he was getting the Atiba that he thought he was getting in this match. I think it was one of these things where feeling out process when you don't see people wrestle like this that often. I mean, we'd never seen Atiba in this style, so you got to kind of figure out in there, I guess, what he's going to do and how he's going to do it. I also really think Yaden had a great idea with this match because, yeah, like he said, it's a no DQ, but you lose something if he does go for those shenanigans that he's been using lately. And really, let's face it, since Atiba started doing this, this is how he has become successful. Taking the back door, the low blows, things like that. And while he could do that in this, and we see later on he tries, it was going to cost him points. Not necessarily the match. Well, in the match, yes, with the points, but not necessarily an automatic disqualification. I think it was great the way Yaden fought back. He got down early, and it was just the drive. And you could tell how much the NRW title means to Mercury. I mean, the letters are tattooed on his body, but he got down, and he just never gave up. Fought back, comes to a tie. We go to extra time. Atiba goes for the low blow, which didn't work, and we find out in a little bit after Yaden gets some more points, but then gets the cradle, and he gets the pin and retains, and then we see Yaden brought his athletic supporter with him, with all his other supporters, always planning, always the smart boss man over there. Knew Atiba would still try it if he got desperate, which he did. Your reigning, defending NRW champion, Mercury Yaden. Great match. Really liked it. It was a different spin on something you don't see. In a night full of chaos and mayhem, Marky, this was wrestling.
Yes, this was. This was very different than what we're used to seeing, but it was very refreshing to see Big Teebs kind of have to go out there and really get it done, and not just when all hell is breaking loose, when the ref's not looking, just kind of give a guy a kick and just kind of walk away, or pin a guy when the ref's not looking, or any of that stuff. No, this was classic. This is what you wanted to see, and Big Teebs, Atiba, was going to have to earn it here. He does go up big early, but the poise that Mercury showed during this match was amazing. It must have been exhausting. Like, this is a very different style match than the pro wrestling, the normal grind of, the running the ropes and the everything else. This was very strictly mat based, and a little, I'm not going to lie, a little out of my element, not used to reviewing and talking about this type of match. However, the purity of it kind of brought it home. You can watch it and just kind of appreciate what's going on here. And seeing a guy like Big Teebs have to step out of that element that he's been in for the last couple months and actually step into an older element when he was a different kind of person, and then go after the man that is just here now, who knows what he's doing, who has the title, and who is going to do everything he can to defend it, and ends up doing it, outsmarts and out-mat wrestles Atiba and retains the match right here. Mercury, brilliant stipulation. I'm just very curious. One question, I know I should be throwing it to Sunday here, but I really want to ask one question. How did you train for something like this? Because there may not be, or maybe there are out there, a lot of people who are trained in this amateur style. Was it difficult to kind of train and get ready for something like this? Or is this something that was just in the back of the brain, like in that file cabinet? You open it and it's just there.
It never goes away. Even in over the last several years, like, I implemented a lot anyway. It's just now there were points involved. So a lot of that implementation isn't just getting somebody to the ground and trying to pin them. There's other. The big thing about this is the strategy totally changes when there's points involved, because now the takedown means more than just getting a person to the mat to try to pin him. You're paying attention to points. You see me look over several times. Like, you're just trying to pay attention to what position am I in? What am I going to do to not put myself in a bigger deficit when it comes to points? So the training for it was all focused on mat-based wrestling. That's all I've been doing at training for the last several weeks leading up to this because I knew what we were doing, and it not really a big change as far as how I train because again I do a lot of this anyway. That's kind of the style that I like to implement, but just leaned into it a little bit more. But yeah, once it's in your brain, once you've done it long enough, it kind of naturally sits there. And I knew that was the case for Atiba. And Atiba's has much less time removed from that style than I do. So, I had to think about that. It's like, I don't know if I'm really at an advantage for this because he was really good himself, and he's a lot younger than me. So his time away from that style has been a lot less than mine. But it's like riding a bicycle, that old cliche. Like you fall right back into it when you have to.
It's still smart though. It's still like you may say, he might have that little advantage of but you're removing his type of advantage in this type of match where he's been taking lately of the low blow. You completely remove that out of his element of winning or losing. Now it's a point deduction. You come out with the athletic supporter, so the low blow really doesn't mean much. Although it still had to hurt a little bit. Those still hurt a little tiny bit.
It doesn't feel great, but it hurt his leg more than it hurt me. So I think he was more surprised than anything.
Yeah. But yeah, no, taking his advantage away that he's been using over the last couple of months was very, very smart in this type of match.
All right, Sunday, go ahead.
I was going to say that basically same thing, taking his advantage away, but I was thinking more of like his high flying ability. And, we know Atiba to be a high flyer, and that's just gone in a match like this. And yeah, you did say that like he's less time removed from him doing that style of wrestling in a more regular basis, but you've had more time in your life to look into it and process it and study it. And I know in your time as being a trainer, you've run into guys like Dozer, who's a high level amateur wrestler, and Bobby Lashley has come through, and guys like that are all in the Colorado area. So you got some guys to pick their brains, I'm sure, at different times as well. I love watching something like this because it is different from what we're used to seeing. The point system, the strategy. It's a chess match. It truly is a chess match between two guys in a physical form, and it was nice to see rather than. I mean, obviously we like the traditional professional wrestling style because that's why we're fans. That's why we're here. But to see something different was nice, and to see you come out on top using that chess match and using your brain and using. I mean, you did have a little bit of a size advantage as well too, and you took advantage of that and you used it. And so yeah, I thought it was a fantastic match, and I love seeing Mr. Mercury Yaden become the reigning and defending NRW champion still.
Dlo, what did you think about watching this match up close in person?
From my perspective, and I come from an amateur wrestling background, so I love the breath of fresh air that this style brings into the pro wrestling element. And then, yeah, Atiba's a younger, faster competitor. You can see how the match played out, where Atiba got out to the early lead, but then the veteran, learning the game and feeling Atiba wear out and get a little tired, was able to capitalize on it and force it in overtime. And then he was able to, Yaden was able to keep his heads and wits about him, and it was able to capitalize and get the win. So for me, I love sitting there. It was a pleasure to call because it took me back to a dark wrestling room with a mat where I was, look at the ankle pick, look at the leg lace, and it was fun to see it in a wrestling ring in front of a crowd. And most pro wrestling fans aren't accustomed to the amateur style, but if you pay attention to it for long enough, a period and a half, you will get and see the ebbs and flows and the momentum of the match, which the Rocky Mountain Faithful did, and along with all you guys, so it's a great story. I was happy to see it play out, and obviously I'm glad my friend got the win. So that makes it all the much better.
You could absolutely hear the enthusiasm in your voice as you were calling the match.
I was having the time of my life calling that.
Yeah, you could tell. You could absolutely tell.
Dlo, Triple I.
Oh boy.
Triple I.
Oh boy.
Dlo.
Oh boy.
Yo, what up, Triple I? How you doing?
Doing great. You?
You know what? It's cold, it's snowy here, but hey, that's Denver, right?
Hey, it's Massachusetts as well. I just came back from the roads, being on the road, so same thing.
Same thing. So your guys dealing the same thing we are right now.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh,
yeah.
Eyes, behave yourself.
Yeah. Wicked.
All right, fine. Next time if we meet Dlo, I won't behave myself though.
Well, this is our first meeting. We'll play it by ear. Then the next time, then you'll mess around, make me act like the old me.
Love it.
Good. All right. Moving on. Actually, you know what? Since he just showed up at the end of that, Eyes, what did you think about Atiba versus Yaden for the NRW Championship?
Should I be nice since Yaden's in front of me, or hey Yaden, what's up?
You say you never are, so we'll change that.
I'm really not.
That was just nice of you to even ask, but I know you don't mean it, so go ahead and just say
Not
whatever.
at all. No.
New year, new me? Nah.
No.
Of course not. Why would we? I thought it was a great match, a very technically sound match. I'm not going to rehash everything that you guys just did, but my key points in that, Johnny, and everyone else, was I saw a few things. One, I saw two veterans going at it here. It wasn't like a newcomer or a rookie or someone that barely had any wrestling experience. I had two veterans going at it, in my opinion. So to me, it was an even playing field. And with that being said, I noticed, Yaden, you were down at what point? I think 7 points to 0 late in the match.
I think it was 5-0, and we got to 5-1, but he was up like 7-1 at one point.
7-1.
Yeah.
I could have sworn five. It was something along the lines of that. And you never lost your patience once. You knew how many minutes were in each round. You knew time was running out. And despite being down by 5 points, 6 points with time running out with each round passing, you never lost your patience, never lost your cool. You knew what you had to do to overcome the obstacles in your way. On the flip side, you took a Tebow who was dominating the match to begin with, who's also equally matched with you as far as somewhat experience goes. Somewhat, not completely, but he's
in that world, definitely. In that environment, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Thank you. But what got to me is Atiba is up by 5-6 points, and then he gave a point away right away with a it was like I forget what it was. I'm looking at my notes. Give me 1 second.
Probably the knee.
I think.
Yeah.
Because I got an escape, and then when I came back in, he tried to knee me. Yeah.
Exactly. He hit a knee on you, so it cost a point right away. And to me, was that cockiness? Was he getting cocky because he's up by so many points and he thinks he could maybe take advantage of it? I don't know, but that cost him. And then he let his emotions get the best of him as well in the last round, going for that low blow. And then we saw what happened with that, obviously. And things just went on a downward spiral for him. He had the match won. And this is not taken away from Atiba's abilities or his athleticism. We know how great he is. We don't have to talk about. We can go on and on about that. I'm not going to talk about that for the whole night. But I think it came down to the mental game towards the end of it, and that's where you had the upper hand. That's my main points that I got out of it. Great wrestling match, but it was more about the mentality as well. Your mental game going into it and persevering throughout, and that's what won it. That's what won the match.
No, I agree. Why he would do it in that situation, I just think it's kind of what he does. It's kind of a natural thing for him at this point. Yeah. He just saw an opening, and you can see the way he threw it, though, where the ref was positioned. I think he thought he was going to sneak one in there.
It looked that way.
Because neither one, I mean, I think he'd taken me down once at that point. I hadn't been able to take him down, so I think it was kind of a way to try to get me softened up so he can get me back to the mat. But I thought he could get away with it because the ref was behind us. But, and I saw Kelly over on YouTube say something about, credit and shout out to Eli, who hasn't officiated an amateur match. Like, he had to do his research and study how to officiate this thing.
I was going to ask about that as a ref. I was going to ask you about that afterwards, but he just kind of learned how to do it?
He learned how to do it. Once he knew the stipulation, he started studying. He asked me how the rules went. We went over it many times. Like, he did a really good job. And I think Atiba knew that, and he knew that Eli didn't have experience in this environment, just the pro wrestling environment. So I think he thought he could sneak one in there and not get penalized the point or give me the point. And it didn't work because Eli was paying more attention and had studied up more than he thought he had. And you're right. It cost him because points are huge. Again, once the point environment completely changes the game, it changes the chess match because now he basically put me back in it by doing that. It's 6-1, right?
6-1 or 7.
No, it's 5-1, and now all of a sudden it's 5-2, I believe.
Yeah.
And then he takes me back down and he gets back up 5 again. But because he gave me that point, there's a big difference between 7-1 and 7-2. Because now I'm a takedown and some back points away from tying it up, or a reversal, as you guys saw. A Gazzoni and some back points later. Now all of a sudden, with 30 seconds left, all you got to do is kind of keep it there to go into overtime. So,
and there's also an element too that sometimes, as someone who's been out there, I almost lost a chance to go to States one time because I was up by 7 points and I kind of relaxed a little bit with 40 seconds left. And it's like, I'm up by so much, he's not going to catch me. And next thing you know, I'm only up by a point. And it changes like that. And that's an example of what happened here, where it almost felt like Atiba just relaxing, like I can coast home here. He lost his head a little bit, but then he was like, let me get back in here and just coast home. And when you've got a vet who's just waiting for that one moment where I feel your body relax here, I can take advantage of it, and that's what Yaden did. And next thing you know, we're going to overtime, and then it's anyone's game.
And then he takes me down and he pops up and pulls the straps off.
Yeah.
Because he's so stuck in it because he thought he had won. He thought it was sudden death at that point.
Well, and I will say that's probably the ring announcer's.
Could be. Lucas might have got the assist for me on that one.
It's in the house that we're going to sudden death, but it was actually overtime rules. And I think Atiba thought, take down, let me go do the Kurt Angle and celebrate. And we still got to go.
Yeah, he pulls down his straps, which was another point for me because it was unsportsmanlike. And that's what really frustrated him. And then you saw the kick come.
Yeah.
He wasn't expecting to kick what he kicked, though.
And next thing you know, he's on his back.
I'll say this: like, I talked to my parents were pretty excited about this match because my parents loved going to tournaments in high school, and I beat a lot of people with the cradle. Like, that's what I did. I beat a lot of guys that were beating me on points with cradles. So my dad's thing was like, well, we better see a cradle in this one. So Tiba gave me the chance to lock him in one. And it ended up being the deciding move, but it was a lot of fun. I have to say, I had some of the most fun I've had in many years wrestling this match. It's fun to go back to your roots, and I'm glad people enjoyed it and got a chance to see something a little bit different than you normally see. But yeah, Marky, it was pretty impressive the amount of rules and the amount of stuff he studied up on to get ready for this.
Yeah, I almost want to message him on the side and just kind of ask him, like, hey, how did you do that? How did you learn how to do
it? It was not a bad thing to learn because you never know when you're going to be put in that situation. If you're out here, we'll probably do it again. Because now that we've done it and we saw how it works, I'd like to, have it be something that we see maybe a couple times a year. So yeah, definitely something. It can't hurt to learn those basic rules. Yeah.
I was watching that. And I'm like, I think I might study up and kind of learn this a little bit because this seems very interesting. Like, it seems
it's fun.
Two variants of wrestling. But speaking of the two variants, I want to ask one more question and then I'll be done and we can move the show. While you're in this amateur style match, all your pro wrestling skills are on the side. Is it very difficult to not go to your regular arsenal of moves that we normally see you do in a pro wrestling match in an amateur style match? Like we saw Atiba mess up and we saw him throw that knee into your gut. Is it very difficult to kind of keep those moves on the side and stick with the amateur style? Or is it just something that, like,
RMP
one
Amateur
book
Classic
closes?
coming soon. I'm just looking at YouTube.
Is it something that, like, your pro wrestling book closes, but the amateur book opens in the back of your mind and you just don't even go to this moveset?
Yeah, I think it's difficult.
You had to fight.
Because you naturally at this point want to rely on that other stuff. But I think, I guess the best way that I could put it, in the first period, yes. Once you kind of get that first period in you, you kind of settle back into it because you just remember what it was like. And now, you got the referee, flip into who's going to pick. Like, you kind of get set back into that mindset. I think once you get to that first period and, you're picking top, bottom, neutral, defer, or whatever, like, it's just kind of okay, this is where I'm at. I'm back here again. And at least for me, I settled back in and just put myself in that position. Obviously, Atiba didn't, so I think it's more difficult for a guy like him who, as we see, his behavior has been not very old Atiba like. But for me, once I got past that first 3 minutes, I think I kind of settled right back in, and I wasn't having to hold back on anything because, again, I had points. It was all about points. Points are a pin, and the pins are different too. Like, that's another thing. You got a second, man. Now, as we were talking about earlier, I think I pinned him for about 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
But
Yeah, you
and Eli's not used to that positioning. But yeah, it's a little weird at first, but after a few minutes, you settle back in.
All right. Are we all set with that match, boys?
It was interesting. A lot to talk about.
All right. Next matchup. And we're just going to keep on going with the same order. We're going to have Coastal lead off and continue on just to move things along here. We have Sledge and Dak Draper going up against Curtis Cole and CBD.
As much as I'd love to start off and let Marky start because I started Yaden's match. So, Marky, it's your floor.
You did.
Go ahead.
So, Sledge and Dak, there's no denying this is an imposing force of a tag team. Okay, we're seeing lately some single stars that are getting paired together, that have a friendship, that have a chemistry and a camaraderie together. And this was unique. I didn't know Sledge and Dak could work this well together. You know, big guys, they have their own like egos and where they're going in forward, but they seem to have found like a kinship in this match. They looked cohesive, like they had been together for a while. Curtis Cole and CBD have not, and that is a fact, period, done, end of story. So immediately they are behind the 8 ball. Curtis, first of all, it took him an hour and a half to figure out who was going to start the match by playing paper, rock, scissors for 3 years. But eventually CBD gets thrown in, even though he lost. He threw rock, Curtis threw scissors, but that's besides the point. Curtis imposing his will on the young man. But we've seen CBD. We saw him on Ignition the other night, and he was fairly impressive. The loudmouth with the bullhorn, that's got to go. But at the same time, he's very impressive when he gets in the ring. He's really good. We see Dak and Sledge take a very early advantage. More Sledge on CBD, taking an early advantage. They get him in the corner, a cool double team straight jacket clothesline in the corner. They whipped him a couple times. They really put the boots to CBD early. CBD gets one quick move in on Sledge, whips him off the ropes, and that's all Curtis Cole needs. Puts a boot right in the Sledge back, and here we go right here. Cole gets in, isolates Sledge in the corner, does a pretty good job. Fast tags between Cole and CBD. Like, I wouldn't have thought that they'd have cohesion like this, but they really kind of did. But then we see in a couple moments after this that Curtis Cole's not interested in getting in there as much as we saw the OGs kind of leave it to the Squire earlier. Curtis Cole kind of left it to CBD at a time. He came for a tag, and Cole said, no, you go right back after him. He didn't want to jump in. He didn't want any part of Sledge at that moment in time. And Sledge takes that advantage. He gets back out, fights up, gets a big spine buster. We see the huge hot tag to Dak Draper. Dak comes in and just absolutely starts annihilating people. Big gut wrench suplex to CBD. Curtis Cole manages to get off to the side and block what they were going to call the big one. We still didn't see the big one. Cole manages to knock Dak off the top, and Dak falls, and the top turnbuckle hits him right in the Drapers, and he's hurting over there on the side. And then basically he gives a huge, Cole gets in, big leg lariat to Sledge. And then we see something really cool and interesting.
Are Drapers different than Capers? I'm sorry. I just...
Very.
I guess they're all salty, right?
They're all salty, but I think it's the size that matters.
Okay.
There we go. All
Out
right.
of the bag.
Touche.
That's the difference between the Capers and the Drapers. That's
a new masshole word of the day. Capers
Yeah,
versus Drapers. It's good.
Capers,
Drapers.
Drapers. Coming soon to a YouTube video. Me and you. But anyway, no, we see the 4 guys in the match. Cole, Sledge, CBD, and Draper just take turns just passing a punch around the circle, man. We've all been in a circle here or there where, you know, it is what it is and things are getting passed around, but they were passing punches and chops and more punches and more chops. It was fun to see. I don't know why somebody just didn't double clothesline the teammates that were next to him, but But either way, people were taking punches and fists all over the place. Finally, Sledge gains the advantage, isolates CBD, gives him the big sledgehammer for the 1-2-3. Sledge and Dak Draper come out victorious here. And there's a lot of talk on commentary about how big and imposing these guys are and how this could have some focus going forward in the tag team division here. This might not be a one-off. Fellas, actually, who do we want to go? Sunday. You want to take next
Sunday,
year? Dak and Sledge are just like 600 pounds of pure muscle. Who's going to stop them?
I don't know who could stop those two. I don't want it to. I don't want to attempt it. Those guys, not only they big, massive, strong dudes, but they're veterans too. That have. It's not like they're rookies in this game. They haven't just stepped in. These guys are guys that have been around the block, faced a lot of really high level competition around the world, and you put them two together, and as you said, Mikey, they worked well together. And this is the beginning. Imagine if they work together for the next month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. What they'll look like then. It could be very, very dangerous.
JK Pop, you listening?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they went up against obviously a team that didn't have the experience together because CBD was a last minute replacement, but Curtis Cole is a tag team wrestler. We could talk to. He's not sitting there right now, but his former tag team partner in the Tag Dudes, and they've won multiple tag team championships. Maybe we're finding out, and maybe we knew this already that Mr. Yaden was the reason they won so many of those. But it's this team, like you said, this team of Sledge and Draper, I think is going to be very impressive if they can stay together and if they can stay on the same page. I don't see anybody in RMP that can really physically go toe to toe with them. Obviously, JK Pop have been around a long time, champions forever basically, and they find ways to win. But if it's just physical toe to toe, Sledge and Dak Draper scare me if I'm a tag team. What's your thoughts on that, Coastal?
No, I agree. I have dubbed them the Mile High Metalheads. They are terrifying, and when they start to click together as tag team, it's going to be very scary. But here's the thing: you bring up JK Pop and who can stop them. Physicality is one thing, but we know that, honestly, what's the old saying? 60% of this game's half mental. You get in that ring and you got to have your head on a swivel, and what JK Pop does so well is they manipulate things. But I think the sheer power could be a very good offset to that. So I'm very interested to see where Sledge and Dak Draper go from here. Honestly, I thought one of my favorite parts of things I've seen so far is that chop circle. I want to see Triple I get in the chop circle. But other than that, Curtis Cole did the best he could do with a throw-in tag team partner. I'm taking it. We know Curtis and I have had our back and forths. The man is he's a great wrestler. He's a great tag team wrestler, especially. He has multiple tag team titles, especially with Yaden. He's won other singles championships. Curtis Cole, take nothing away from him, but these two guys tonight just dominated. As again, the Mile High Metalheads.
And let's not forget, Danger Dean specifically called this match a must-win, basically, and it has title implications to go along with it. So, guys, go right ahead.
Yeah, these boys encapsulated it nicely. My God, there's so many things to say about this. You talked about Coastal. You talked a lot about the power. I think not just you, but a few of you do talk about the power advantage for Sledge and Dak combined, and there's no denying that. Here's what's scary, guys. They really haven't been a tag team for too long. So the fact that they were this impressive in their early comings as a tag team, and they already have the experience, and they already have a power advantage to pretty much any tag team that they face upon in RMP. That's going to bode that their stock is already going through the roof at an accelerated rate more than normal. So I feel bad for any tag team that has to go against them. I did want to mention one thing here, guys. There was some good what's the word I'm looking for? Strategy with Cole and CBD in the beginning and early of the match. They, after some back and forth with rock, paper, scissors and all the shenanigans and crap like that, Guys, they isolated Sledge, and they were targeting his shoulder. You target the big man's shoulder, all right? You take away his power. You take that away, you're down to one arm. As powerful as Sledge is, and he's got strong legs as well, you take away one of his arms, you lose that power advantage right away. There's no denying that. So it was a good strategy by Cole and CBD. So let's not forget about that. Those two may not have tagged as well. They don't have much experience as a tag team either, but that was good strategy between the two. I like to probably give that credit to Curtis Cole because he's a tag team wizard. So I'm sure he maybe taught CBD that before the match, gave him some pointers. Who knows? But let's not forget about that as well. The chop fest in the circle. I felt that all the way here in Massachusetts. My chest lit up myself, and oh god, I got goosebumps all over, and I had to make sure I was okay just after watching that. Whew, god. But it was a hell of a match, and obviously we saw Dak and Sludge get the win. Here's the thing: they're gonna go against. I think it's only a matter of time, dudes, before they get a tag team title shot against JK Pop for those titles. Your power and your strength is great, and the experience that they bring, to the ring is great as well. But we know that JK Pop does JK Pop stuff, which we'll talk about later. So they need to study. They need to prepare for that as well. But they are a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, I think Sunday said it best. I don't know any other two guys on the RMP roster right now that could match up strength and power with them.
All right. Yaden and Dlo, what did you guys think about this tag team match here and possibly Sledge and Dak going for those tag titles in the future?
I thought it was a very good match. You guys have pointed out, so I don't want to keep running around the same merry-go-round here. Just I want to say this, that I liked seeing a young talent like CBD get in there, almost feel like he was hitting above his weight, but standing right in there going with veterans. It'll only get him great experience down the line. Now Curtis Cole, I mean, I've said it several times, I don't like his attitude, but damn, that man can just flat out wrestle in the middle of the ring. I mean, he can go. And then when you go on the other side and you got these two monsters together that know each other from the time in like Ring of Honor and other companies, come together like they did, proving to be a force. They're going to be something no matter what they do. Like there's positive vibes around those two. And if they go after the tag team titles, I love size and experience, but I will tell you this, JK Pop is the master of, and in the words of the great Roddy Piper, just when you think, you have all the answers, JK Pop is going to change the question. And that's what they do consistently when it comes to tag team wrestling. So I get size and strength, but those mental genius of tag team wrestling, JK Pop, they'll figure something out. And that kind of evens everything. So it's all down to on any given Sunday, boys.
Facts. Absolute facts.
You all set, Yaden?
Oh, are you asking me?
Well,
I combine both of you guys. You guys are
Always
all
love
on
to hear
screen,
Yaden's
so.
thoughts on Curtis Cole.
Yeah, true.
You have the floor, good sir.
Yeah, well, you guys, I wouldn't say anything that I don't normally say about Curtis Cole. We were friends for a long time, and he's a very, he's Curtis Cole. Let's just put it at that.
Let's not waste time.
Yeah, Dak and Sledger would definitely be a big threat to any tag team in Rocky Mountain Pro. But do they have an interest? As well as they work together, do they have an interest?
Yeah, I mean, because they're both singles guys.
Yeah.
Do they want to go for tag team gold, or they want to go after the Rocky Mountain Pro title? That's always the question.
And knowing both of them, I see them as singles guys that can come together and work with somebody that they have respect for, and that they're friends with, or to obtain a mutual goal.
Yeah.
But I just believe that the mutual goal in them, that their goals are in singles titles, singles success, So I don't know if that's a thing that would happen. It'd be interesting to see if it does, because, like you said, that a huge threat to JK Pop would probably be the biggest threat they've ever faced, or anybody for that matter. When you combine two guys like that, and they were very impressive in their first outing as a tag team. Mm-hmm. But again, you have to have the interest, and if they ended up working together, but their goals were still very individually focused, then that can lead to a very fast breakdown in a tag team. So I don't know where they're going with that, but I don't know if I would count on them staying together as a given just because they did well together. Because again, the goals have to line up. You have to go, okay, we're tag team guys now. We're going for that. That's why Balaam and Echo have worked so well. It's why JK Pop is the. I mean, we were doing numbers. Yeah. They might be the longest reigning
champions in the history of wrestling. In the history of wrestling,
like. The amount of days that they've held this title combined, it's been a pretty long run, just this one. But
I mean, we did math, we did WWE, we did NWA. I mean, I've done Impact, I've done WCW, and no one is more than, I think it's 600 days, and I think JK Pop is somewhere in the 7s, right?
They might be in the 8s.
In the 8s.
They did some. They combined. I think they did it with some other companies as well. But as far as this one, I do believe that they're above 600 days. I think they're above 700 days. So if they're not the
Johnny
longest reigning tag
Casanova
champion.
says 1,000.
Well, of course he's going to say 1,000. He might say 2,000.
Yeah.
I mean, Casanova's good.
Yeah, let's not take their word for it. We'll figure it out for them.
He's got that nose for numbers.
Math's not his strongest suit.
I mean, they won the titles from Curtis and I at the Pepsi Center. In 2020. It was like January 2020.
Yeah, that was right before everything went to hell, basically.
And then we won them back, and then they won them back from us. Mm-hmm. So adding up all those times, they got a case for the longest reign in the history of professional wrestling. So the reason that works so well, where I was going with that, is the reason it works so well is because Johnny Casanova and King Koyama are 100% focused on tag team wrestling, and the singles wrestling is where they're kind of out of their element, but they're still working together in that. Everything is a team effort. To knock that off, no matter how talented you are individually, even if you have a good showing together, tag team wrestling is all about a unified goal and a well-oiled machine. So I don't know. I kind of rambled on there, but I'm curious to see where it goes. I'd like to see it. I just don't know if those guys' goals are the same.
Who says you can't? Who says you can't be a tag team champ and hold singles gold as well at the same time?
People have done it.
Hey, I've been Dlo 2 belts, so I know what it's like.
Damn straight.
Greatest continental champion ever.
It does split your focus. I mean, that's very hard to do, and I believe it splits your focus, which can hurt you in either category.
And also, the thing you have to remember is it's one thing to win 2 titles, another thing to keep up 2 title championship schedules. That is hard on the human body.
All right.
Okay, but Johnny, we're talking about Rocky Mountain Pro. So what is it, the total days of Rocky Mountain Pro? Because that's where, if we were going to talk about the longest reigns, it's for a company. So not multiple companies. We're just talking about,
which is what he's saying.
As impressive as that is, we need the days that you've held it here, because that's what we're comparing the numbers to for other teams that have held tag team.
That becomes the measuring stick.
Yeah, show your work. In the math class, show your work.
Yeah, Kane Koyama says my number is RMP only.
So 1,051 days as tag champions in Rocky Mountain Pro.
Well,
I remember them coming on here one night and saying something like that it had been.
What does that translate?
Close to 1,000 3 years.
66. That's 366.
Lucas is saying 1,000.
That's a little over 3 years.
Yeah.
So a little over 3 years of.
A little over 3 years.
I mean, it's close. I mean, they did lose the titles technically for like a month and a half until POS came in the picture.
And the problem with the POS thing is they retroactively got those days back.
Yeah, so that reign continues.
And then you guys, the tag dudes, won them at Aces Wild last year, and had them
we
until
only
never
had them for
broken.
what, 60 days?
Until never broken, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a pretty. I mean, say what you want about them.
I mean, it doesn't. We're talking about rarefied air, no matter what the number is, and that's an impressive thing.
It is.
So when we're looking at this, they're the longest reigning tag champions in the history of professional wrestling. That's a pretty amazing
That's
thing
pretty
when you think
awesome.
about it.
But
Yeah.
week in and week out, we see why. They find ways. Do we agree with them? 95% of them? No, not really. But they found
And that's
ways,
being nice
right?
to say
I was trying-
95%.
I was trying to be delicate and, not piss certain people off, but at the same
Talk
time,
to Koso. He knows.
95% of the time, 95% of the time, they find ways of walking in with the belts and walking out still
Mhm.
champions with the belts. They just find ways to keep.
And that's
getting it done.
that's the goal of being a champion is to
Yep.
you arrive to the arena holding the gold, you want to get back in your car and drive away still holding the gold. Hook or crook, you want to go home with the gold.
Or Kane Koyama wants to go home with Lola. One of the two.
Hey, that's their personal stuff.
Well, yeah, obviously not because they're putting it all over TV.
Okay.
Success with one. Success with one. He's having success with one.
I was about to say, it doesn't seem to be working very well.
No.
As we see in chat. No.
Let
Lola.
alone. Let
Lola's not a fan here in chat.
All right.
Koyama's chances.
So Johnny, I know we're going in order, but I'd like to take my favorite guys, my favorite wrestler, his match next. Lead off, if that's okay.
Yeah, we can get to that in just a second, but we are halfway through. I also want to let everybody know that we are live on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. If you're on YouTube, if you don't mind giving us a like, hitting that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed, and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss another episode or live show of Rocky Mountain Pro or Dudes and Belts. And as far as Twitch is concerned, we're going to be in subscriber only for the majority of our shows here on Twitch. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. You get all the perks that you would on YouTube over here on Twitch as well. So just hit that subscribe button and just keep that up monthly. And you will be interacting with us every show, every week.
You'll
So
get dudes.
yes, you get dudes, you get wrestling,
You get dudes.
you get Dlo
You're
and
wrestling.
Yaden live every now and then. Can't beat it. All right. Moving on to our Charged Championship match. It was originally supposed to be Remy D versus Martin Casaus, but due to injury, Martin Casaus had to relinquish that spot. POS came out and announced his new client, which is the Ignition champion, Sky Hossman, which we can talk to Yaden about this towards the end of this in terms of the Ignition title, but apparently he's cashing in his Ignition title for this Charged Championship opportunity. So this match ended up being Remy D versus Sky Hossman for the Charged Championship. And yes, we will let Triple I go first.
Look at him. He's vibrating.
I know.
Look at him. You have to let him go first.
Oh, yes. Dlo, just so you know, big fan of you, but my number one guy, my main man, my go-to person, all the above and more, VD, Remy D. Just unreal. Oh, everything, just the charisma, the energy, everything just oozes from him, and it permeates all the way back down to Lowell, Massachusetts, where I live right here. It is great. Oh, God.
Remember when I said behave yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
bro, you know that. Leave that to Cinemax. Let's talk wrestling.
Certain things get me excited, that's all.
I don't want to hear about you getting excited. I don't know you that well, dog.
I can go worse. Trust me, I haven't.
Please don't. Please don't.
No,
Just
don't
stop.
PG.
What are you doing?
I kept it PG. I didn't say I was going to go further,
What do you
Johnny.
mean you
Simmer
kept it
down.
PG?
Nothing.
Simmer down. Simmer down, please.
I was just
Holy.
I was expressing my
God.
admiration,
That's them.
my admiration for
For the
one of
D.
my
For
favorite
the
wrestlers.
D.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go any deeper with the D. All right.
You
You don't
you love the
chastise
D.
Yeah, and you're not helping the situation whatsoever, by the way.
Oh, no.
He just said he loves the D.
I know.
You do.
He what Mark he say at the beginning of this? He's vibrating over there
Look
in
at him.
anticipation of the D.
And he doesn't even need batteries. Look at him. Look at him.
It's all natural.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Not
This
even
chair-
Red Bull.
This chair has
can do
magical powers.
Oh God.
It's a natural love for the D.
Yeah.
The D will make you glow.
All right, Charged Championship match. Remy D versus Sky Hossman.
Now we come to the part of the show where Johnny Death Drop desperately tries to get control of the situation.
No help from
boy.
Yaden half the time. But
What's that? No help? No.
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 All right.
So now that I got that off my chest, whew,
Oh yeah, you. Oh boy, you
God.
did.
and
Oh God.
Damn it, dude. Come
Well-
on.
what?
Oh.
No, what are you talking about? What did I do? I
Think about what you just said.
now that I
Take
got
a
that off my
second.
chest-
Take
do
a
you remember
second.
the phrasing conversation we had a while ago?
Okay, as someone who talks for a living, phrasing matters. Just
A lot.
a lot.
Oh, we broke chat. That's for sure.
Oh. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I will proceed. I'm not sure what I did here, but I will proceed. But yeah,
I'll tell you offline, dog.
all right.
You're the
cool.
only one who didn't get it.
Give me a few minutes after. I might get it.
That's a common occurrence around here, Dlo. It really kind of is.
All right, we got our short clips.
Oh,
Yeah,
move forward.
yes.
We
Oops.
have-
Yes.
Yeah, Johnny, could you get
Yes.
control of this thing? Come on,
Yeah.
man.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'll-
Okay,
Yep,
so
yep.
you gave us a shorts clip for the week. Greatly appreciate you there.
oh, sure.
However, it's time to get on track.
So back to the match here. The beginning of the match was some very great back and forth wrestling action between the two. And Sky is, he's not one to take for granted here. I knew that when Sky Hosman was announced to be Remy's opponent, it was not going to be any easy feat for Remy whatsoever. Sky is someone to be reckoned with. But they go back and forth a little bit, obviously, to begin the match. And then right away, Sky, we talked about attacking Sledge's shoulder, as a strategy. Sky goes and attacks the left knee of Remy. Smart strategy right away because you take out his high-flying abilities. You also take out some of the power because if you don't have your legs, you lose some of your power as well. So I appreciated that by Sky Hosman a lot. The only thing is, it was too early in the match, and Remy just eventually fights back out of it right away and takes control. Remy has one of the best 1-2 sequences in his arsenal, I believe. He hits this great drop kick followed by this running boot to the corner. It basically just melts your opponent right down, and it takes them a long to recover. Then applies a nice figure four on the ropes. However, Sky's able to reverse it and take back control of the match, and it's a great vertical suplex there. We're near the end of the match after more back and forth, and Hosman goes to the top rope, attempting to end the match here, but Remy stops him with this big, beautiful spinning kick, and then hits one of the most beautiful cutters ever off the top rope for the win. You're 1, 2, 3, and you're still RMP Charged champion. It was a great showing by both, and still the most over guy in the RMP roster, the great crowd reaction. Oh, love it.
You dug yourself in a serious hole, bud. I'm sorry.
I was expressing my admiration for Remy.
We know.
We know.
Yeah.
Bro, you took that way too far. Way too
I
far.
covered. I got serious. I covered the match. I gave Sky some kudos. It was a great showing by both, and Remy ultimately got the win. What was wrong with that?
You're in the
Nothing.
doghouse for the rest of the
Nothing.
night, buddy.
Yeah,
Nothing.
nothing was wrong with that, man.
Do me a favor.
You covered the D great, man.
Yes.
Good-
Oh, thank
good
you,
job.
thank you. Oh,
Yaden, you're not helping the situation whatsoever. Why? Why?
see, I can cover a match here and there. I have certain strengths and weaknesses, but when it comes to Remy's matches, I'm right on it.
Somebody
You're weak.
remind me
Definitely when
not
it comes to Remy's matches.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Coastal, can you even try? You okay?
I can. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Wow. I had to step away. I triple I
Really
broke me.
trying to be an adult with all these puns here.
Yes. So POS has this weird way of kind of just finding winners to represent, if you want to go that way. You notice he didn't really talk to Sky until Sky got gold. And he's like, hey, come be on our team. JK Pop has titles. He's there. So the man knows how to follow winners. Ambulances, winners. He's a lawyer, man. That's what happens. This match was interesting in the fact that we saw this a couple weeks ago. And it was a much different match this time. Remy was super frustrated because I think Remy really wanted to take his frustrations out on Marty. And unfortunately for Sky, he caught the bad end of a butt kicking. because Remy was ready. Sky got in a little bit. He tried that ground offense, which for a pilot, I don't know if he should try ground and pound. I think that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. He should want to be in the air. But Remy finishes this off, and I'm going to call it a Cartier cutter because as flashy as Remy is, you can't have a regular diamond. That's a Cartier cutter.
Yeah, these two have kind of grown simply like familiar with each other. We've seen them have good matches on Ignition. And now here we are at Aces Wild, and Sky Horseman is putting his Ignition championship up for a shot at the Charged champion, Remy D. And that's a big, big step because he just won it. He won that drive for 5, had a fantastic match with Echo. We saw how that ended. There was shenanigans there too. But at the same time here, this was a very good match. Sky puts everything out there that he can after Remy being the bigger and the stronger competitor out there does get a power advantage.
How's it
early in
going,
the
Ned, on
beginning. Big
YouTube?
drive-by boot. He locks on that figure 4. A little too early to go for the figure 8, but then Sky starts using the brain power. And he really goes to that instruction manual that he's got and really starts picking Remy D apart. But Remy D, I really think here was just too focused on a guy like Marty and had already trained to be against a larger man and a more experienced competitor than Sky Horseman that Marty Casaus is, and he went out there and just took care of business the way Remy D does. He walked in the Charged champion, he walks out the Charged champion. That cutter at the end was absolutely beautiful. I don't know if Sky's face is going to be the same for the next week, but I do know that Remy D will be the Charged champion next week, and that's what we all wanted to see out of this. But we can't leave out the fact that Sky Horseman went out of his way to do what he did for this title shot. He gave up his Ignition championship. That's huge. That has a lot of implications going forward in every show.
Sunday.
Yeah, so I mean, like we talked about, the Remy geared up for Marty Casaus, ends up getting Sky Osman, and Sky was really, really game for this match, but I mean, Remy was just too much, and like obviously Marty and Sky have different styles and everything, but with how much Remy wanted to get his hands on Marty, I think it was dangerous to Sky to get in the ring with Remy in that moment because Remy was just gonna like a rat in a cage, gonna tear up anybody that was in there with him, and he was just too much for him. Sorry, tickled my throat. But
I shut up.
But Sky does have a bright future moving forward. But I am looking forward to see when we do get to see Marty and Remy in the ring together.
Yes.
Okay. Yaden and Dlo.
Oh, the D really tore him up, man. That's all I can say.
I knew it was coming. So,
Dlo, you got anything?
Welcome to the Dudes and Belts, Dlo.
yes, sir.
Boy,
Whenever Triple I shows up, the D train's on time.
there's some real stiff competition here. Can we just move to the next match?
Yeah.
I love the match. It was great to see Sky step up. He showed a lot, and Remy's a Charged champion.
Yeah, Remy he improves every week, every month. He's held that Charged championship proud. He never ceases to amaze us, and the D is on the rise, man, here in Rocky Mountain Pro.
And then Lola comes in chat. The letter of the day is. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So much for this show being on the rails.
This is off the rails, bro.
Yeah.
It's been a
man.
holy.
The minute we heard vibrating, it was off the
Yeah,
rails.
Mark already started it with the vibrate.
I know.
Well, look at him. He was like buzzing like across the thing. Can I do this match? I want to do this match. I got this match.
Well, it gets me excited. I mean,
We know.
Can we not? Let's not go. Let's not.
We're
Let's
going.
not get back on this horse.
We're
We just
going.
got off it.
We're going. All right. Tag team matchup for the tag team championships. JK Pop versus La Isla, the Island, Echo and Balaam. I don't even know who's next. Sunday, I think we skipped you because Triple I really wanted that. Yeah, so keep
He
going.
wanted the D.
We really want to talk about the D. We know.
Yeah.
He wanted to get to the D first.
Yeah.
He needed it.
I got first dibs.
You don't want sloppy seconds.
No.
No. You get that D first.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So,
I can't even be mad no more. I can't even.
Yeah, that's right, Tony. You're welcome.
Can't even be mad.
well, especially with Yaden being the one stoking the whole fire.
I can't help it now, man.
He's joking.
Oh, watch the F bombs. They're on YouTube too. So,
But
all right, go ahead, Sunday.
all right, so we get the island La Isla against J.K. Pop here for the RMP Tag Championships, and in my mind, I'm going to this match going, finally, J.K. Pop's going to lose these titles. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait. Like I had like a bottle of champagne ready to pop for when it got counted 1, 2, 3. You know, Balaam starts the match, starts in control and everything. But almost right away, he loses focus and ends up focusing on POS. And I know going into any match that POS is on the side there at ringside, especially a JK Pop one, you got to have an idea where he is, where POS is, and what he's doing and everything. But like that early into the match to get up and get distracted by him, I think was a major mistake. He went over and gave POS a forearm to the face, which was awesome. I love seeing it, but it caused La Isla to lose momentum in the match because it gave JK Pop a chance to gain some control. We get Echo in the ring after that, and JK Pop are just doing their thing. That they are when JK Pop has their mind to it in the ring, take out all the cheating and their ways and all that stuff. They are very good. They're amazing. Before they were heavy into this cheating stuff, they were tag team champions and held the belts for a long time. But then obviously they've gone a different way since then. But they're very good at getting a guy in their corner, tagging in, quick tags, keeping the fresh guy in, and being a well-oiled machine. And that's what they were doing with Echo in the ring, and Echo just could get nothing going, and just Echo taking a ton of abuse. But we know Echo from all his time, us watching him, he's very resilient. He can take a lot of abuse and keep going, keep fighting. He ends up fighting away, hits this crazy, like, I don't even know how to call it, a lifting, swinging knee thing that he hits. I wouldn't even.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to call that move, but it was fantastic move to fight away and get out. And he gets Balaam in, and Balaam clears house. We got Balaam. Looks like he was setting up for a suplex or something, and I think it was Caden in the ring with him, and he ends up rolling up Caden, and Caden pushes him off, and with the ref distracted, there's POS on the outside with his binder or whatever it is, which I'm sure it's loaded with something. Whacks Balaam in the head. Then and it's just another situation where the JK Pop's opponent were in control, dominating at the end, just about, within 30 seconds probably of picking up a victory. And JK Pop, whether it's them or POS on the outside, doing something to outside of the rules to get them to get the win. And this is what happens here. And it's just like not fair as a fan, not fair as like I said, I had a bottle of champagne ready to pop to when JK Pop lost their titles, but we didn't get that lucky, and now we definitely aren't very lucky.
Oh shit!
Who said? Yeah.
I believe we have a invasion from Mr. Casanova.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Who said this was okay?
I thought
Yeah,
it
no
was locked.
swearing either. This is a PG show.
Waiting for anybody to talk over there. Hello.
Yeah, I guess
Oh, yeah.
shit is right, because that's all
Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Hey, so hold on a second. Hold on
There
a
he
second.
is. There he is.
How?
Oh, okay.
How? Preston got hit first.
He
Balaam
got up
hit
on the apron where he didn't belong.
Hey, hold on real quick. Why are you? Hey, why isn't your camera
yeah,
on?
where's your video?
because I don't want people seeing my face. Okay, I got my nose broken yesterday.
Why don't you show yourself?
Dude, just
instead
show
of-
your face.
No, I don't want to show myself. Because
Hey,
I don't
can
want
you-
people to see my nose.
Don't hide behind your screensaver there.
Johnny,
Show your
can you
face.
mute him until he shows his face?
Yeah, you can't come on here.
No,
you gotta
I'm not showing my face.
Okay, well then, can you just mute him?
Let's mute him then, because if you're not
Easily.
gonna show your face, you don't need to be on this program.
Gladly.
We're all
do.
showing our face here. You should show yours.
No, I
Everybody
can't show my
knows that.
face because my face is all messed up.
Well, no one's going to judge you. It's
It's been messed up for years. What
This
are
is
you
a
talking
safe
about?
zone here.
Yeah. You're in a safe
Yeah.
place here, safe space.
Yeah,
How's it?
one
No.
doesn't know on this show.
So I know that the moment, because these guys, all they talk about is people's appearances. That's all they talk about.
No, that's not true. We talk about how you cheat, and we talk.
No,
about how you
no.
We
That's
talk
why-
about that all the time.
Dean
No,
just
that's
said
why-
Dean just said we've been laughing at your face for years.
I was gonna say, like, his face has been messed up as long as I've known him.
Look, bro, let's stop giving him credibility here unless he wants to show his face and wants to talk to us like a man. You can't hide behind your screensaver there. Let's just mute him and move forward.
You got something to say? Now's the time.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for his face.
I guess we're muting him.
All right. Who's up next, Johnny?
I'm trying to hit that. Trying to figure it out. Oh, there it is. There it
Oh,
is.
wait a
Oh
minute.
my goodness!
Yeah, you think it's funny?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Hey,
It's fine.
Hey, Johnny, they
But you
they
know
don't
what?
have a
Hold on.
prescription one?
Yeah, you know what, Coastal? As soon as somebody talks crap about you, you're gonna go cry online. You're gonna tell all your buddies that, hey, my feelings are hurt because I'm a fat fool.
Hey, can you turn it landscape just so we can see it a little bit better?
Yeah, if you're going to insult us, at least do it in landscape mode.
Do it in full screen. Come on, man.
Do you have your glasses under the shield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are your
Yes,
glasses
because
under the shield?
I can't see.
Are they really?
That's
'Cause
not
I
how
can't
that's supposed
see.
to work. That's not how that's supposed to work.
Johnny,
I can't see without my glasses.
So
You can
how,
put contacts.
Oh my God.
They might have a prescription face shield.
Yeah.
A prescription face.
Maybe
You know,
go to
you're-
Lens Crafters.
You know, you don't need the face shield if you're not going to have a match. No one's going to punch you right now.
I'm protecting my face. I don't know what's gonna
Rob?
happen around here.
all right. So
You
you're
need to
on
go
here.
upstairs,
You
come
are
home.
you are interrupting the show. What do you got to say? We're giving you the floor.
Look, all I'm saying is this: Preston got hit first. Balaam didn't have to hit Preston, and Balaam got what he deserved for hitting Preston. The referee could have told Preston to step down, and we could have gone back to business. But he hit Preston first.
you know, you got a
And
lot of things that you want referees to do only for you and just for you. You know that? And when the referee's in the right place, he's always in the wrong place.
You had four. Wait, hold on, Marky. You had four guys in the ring earlier, slapping the crap out of each other, and the referee didn't make a 5 count. So
Because
what? So
the referee
it's not
made
discretion. Those are the rules.
Yes, it is.
Those are the
He made-
rules, Yaden. Yaden,
Are you a ref?
Is that not the rules? 5 count in the ring. Why didn't the 4 guys get disqualified?
Oh, you mean you got 5 seconds to get in and out?
Yes, and 4 guys were sitting there for 20 seconds.
That
At
long?
least.
What was it? 20 seconds?
Who, when, where?
Yeah.
It's
What
like
point
a
are we
normal-
talking about?
It's like a normal JK
that-
Paul match when they're in the ring.
No,
the whole
that-
time with no tagging.
Yeah,
and all
you know,
that,
Sunday
yeah.
makes a good point. Maybe the refs kind of over the last few months or even few years have been adding up all the extra time over 5 seconds you guys have spent in the ring, and they just kind of like pooled it away for your opponents to where they can, we'll give them about 20 on this one because they usually take about 30.
And can we stop whataboutism? We're talking about you and your matches, not anybody else. So let's explain to why your match should be ruled differently than other matches.
I said, Preston didn't have to get hit. And
No,
he
Preston
came
should.
through and
If
Yes,
Preston was,
he
if
didn't have
Preston,
to
get, if Preston didn't get up on the apron, Preston wouldn't have got hit.
That's a good point.
but that's the referee's job. They like to tell him to get off.
How about if Preston doesn't get up on the apron and stands on the floor like a manager's supposed to?
Right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I'm saying he came in, but Balaam got what he deserved.
That didn't answer the.
And by the way,
It's like
Preston,
it's like talking to a politician and asking them why
You know-
they're lying, and then they go, "Well,
It
that
is.
other guy lies too."
You're like talking to a flat earther right now because you don't make any sense.
he didn't have to. Preston is a manager. Why would he? Why he didn't have?
So
to
why
get
would he
hit.
be on the
He just
apron?
had some- He just
Right,
had
he's
some
under-
issues. He had some
What-
issues with what was going on. He was
He doesn't
checking in on me. I had my face.
Right.
My face was busted up.
Then
And
you could
Balaam
have
had
gotten to the
issues with what was
floor.
going on too.
You could have gotten to the floor where the manager was. He could have tended to you on the floor. The manager didn't need to get up on
Yeah,
the
but
ring
I
apron.
was a legal man. I was the legal man in the ring.
Then
I can't
tag
just walk
out.
on the floor.
Tag out.
Well, I mean, you got 9 seconds before they hit 10 to throw it out. So yeah, you could have gotten back in.
True.
No,
Even on the I guess Dlo just said that the easiest thing to do would be tag out. Like if there's an injury in a sport, don't they just they get out and put someone else in? That's,
yeah, but then
fresh
the referee never stopped it. The referee saw me bleeding.
you didn't have to stop it. Just tag out.
He could have just said, "Hey, hold on one second. Let's take care of this."
Hold on. Can I say something with that logic? If the referee would have stopped it, you would have lost the Rocky Mountain Pro Tag Team titles.
Thank you.
No, he could have checked in on me, see if I could still go, and I still went. I fought through adversity, brother, and I fought through adversity together.
So he didn't need to check on you then, because you still went.
Beat the island.
Why didn't you just tag out? I think the easy answer is I should have just tagged out.
You should have just tagged out and went down to Preston.
My partner was not in my corner.
Well, that's his fault.
So your partner being out of place, and your manager being in place he's not supposed to be, is Balaam and Echo's fault?
No, it's probably
See the gears turning.
Because it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. And what I'm saying is that Preston was trying to check in on me and make sure I was okay, and then Balaam hit him.
So he went to a place he wasn't supposed to be. Okay.
So it's not. Yeah.
So it became fair game, is what you're saying.
He was on the other side of the ring. I was on the other side. He was telling the ref to check in on me.
Preston?
Yes.
But why didn't you just tag out?
Because Bradwell wasn't there. How could I tag out?
Why wasn't Caden there?
Because Balaam knocked him off too.
Well, how many times you guys knocked Balaam off the apron during the course of the match?
About like 15.
Isn't that part of the kind of whole dynamic?
Of course.
Okay.
Isn't this part of the specialists that we hear so much about and that we actually give you guys props about? When you're doing it, you guys are specialists in the ring. Don't cry
but you know
when it happens to you.
I've never broken Balaam. I've never tried to break Balaam's nose, and he broke mine.
Did he try or did
I don't think he was trying. I think he knows just that week.
What was your nose doing?
He did that on purpose. He did that on purpose.
Do we know that your nose is really broken?
My nose is broken.
Because I had a chest injury that never really happened. I just wore a chest protector just to piss people off.
No, my nose is broken.
How do we know? You got X-rays?
Not enough.
Oh,
I can go get them.
So what you're saying, Johnny, is your nose is broken. So therefore, do you have medical clearance? And if you can't get that, I think you guys may have to forfeit those tag titles.
No, we're not forfeiting anything.
Interesting.
We're not forfeiting anything. I will still compete like the fighting champion I am. Like the fighting champion brother is.
You got to be cleared, buddy.
And is that face mask legal to get into the ring with?
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. So then Miranda Gordy should have dropped her title because she wasn't cleared to wrestle.
She did.
She did.
No, we had a number one contender for it.
No, there was a
she dropped
match
it
later, champ.
Yeah, we had she dropped it.
She dropped her title. She's no longer the champion.
Oh, I'm not giving it up, and Preston will make sure that we're cleared to go.
I'm sure he will, probably from the apron.
Getting punched in there.
Nobody knows better than Preston what it means to get on the apron, and he found out. He effed around and he found out.
and then what happened? He retaliated against Balaam.
He got even. Yes, he did.
He got even, and he should have been hit.
But you're admitting you're cheating, so the championship committee should look into the match and review it.
It's valid.
This is like telling on your sister that.
It's fine. Preston will fight for it.
It's something we'll keep that in mind. We'll talk to Dean about it.
Do we even need to make a phone call?
Yeah,
I think
Dean,
Dean's
you're
in the chat,
right?
Yeah, I think Dean's in the chat.
Yeah, Preston takes care of a lot.
Koyama, Caden, listen, if you're watching this right now, call brother and tell him to stop because he is destroying you.
Yeah, he's digging a hole you guys can't get out of.
I think brother took too many pain meds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kane says, "Isn't referee's decision final?" ?
Yeah, that's true.
Except for the one where you guys lost the tag titles and then Preston got that one reversed.
Just like full set.
We've seen it. We've seen he kind of set a precedent there.
Yeah, that's the word he should be used to, precedent.
All right, well, we haven't heard anything from Dean.
Silence.
John,
Silence.
I'm yelling about referees. Referees are in there looking out for both teams, and there's no way.
Yeah, dude, he wasn't looking out for me when I was all
There
busted
is
open.
no
and bloody.
way he did not come over to you and say, "Are
He
you
did not
okay?
come
Can
over
we
to me.
continue?"
He did not come over to me.
I have a
You
hard
go,
time in the world believing
you
that.
watched that over. I swear, watch that over again. He was nowhere near me.
I
Eli
watched Eli put a glove on, so obviously he
I
knew
was
your current
about to say.
situation.
He put a
Yeah,
glove
but he
on,
never
knew
checked in
the
on me.
situation. That is
Who was the
never checked in
referee?
on me.
garbage.
Who was the referee in this one?
Eli?
It was
Eli.
Spicer, and you said he
It
was.
was
no,
Spicer or Eli?
It was Eli.
It was Spicer.
You don't
It was
even remember
Eli.
who the ref was. It was
I'm
Spicer
concussed.
or Eli?
I'm
He doesn't
concussed.
know anything.
Oh, you're concussed, so now you're definitely not clear.
Yeah,
gotta
dude,
get out
if
of
you're
concussion
concussed, then
protocol.
that's
You gotta
Well,
get out of
This is all,
concussion
this is all
protocol.
recorded and on
I'm
video.
concussed at the moment. I'm concussed at the moment.
You know, this is
Anybody
all
that's
considered.
concussed is
This,
at the moment. It's not like
this
I'm
is first
concussed
person
tomorrow.
account. This is all first
I'm
person
concussed
account.
at the
So
moment.
this is first person account. And it can be used in evidence.
You
It's
better
true.
start pleading the fifth.
Stop blaming the damn refs.
Yeah, it's all you guys' fault. It's all your fault.
stop blaming the refs. It's all your guys' fault.
I would love to see. Oh, he's
Did he
gone.
hang up?
Yeah, he's gone.
I would love to see where any of this was Ref Eli's fault. I thought Ref Eli did a fantastic job in a moment where somebody did get hurt. He was there. He did check on Johnny. He must be concussed to the nines because he doesn't knows. He does not knows right now.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
He has no idea what he's doing.
All right.
He did. He rage quit.
He did rage quit.
He rage quit.
That's awesome.
I don't even know where we left off. Do we have anything left for JK Pop versus Echo and Balaam?
I think we covered.
I'd
Yeah.
say we got to both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we spent enough time on them. Yeah.
And let's not go
Match
back
was
to the D.
Professor.
No. We get to go to the next match. I think is that one that Johnny Casanova forgot about. He was that concussed. He forgot about a whole match.
He really did.
So the next
A whole ass
matchup,
triple threat match.
the next matchup was supposed to be Miranda Gordy versus JC, but unfortunately Miranda Gordy had to relinquish her Lockett's title and ended up being the number one contender from the opening contest tonight in Aces Wild. Lola the Adventurer coming in and taking that number one contendership in place of Miranda Gordy. And then Lilith came in out of nowhere and just started beating the holy hell out of JC. So at that moment in time, Danger Dean had a choice to make, and he's like, "Hell, triple threat match for the Lockett's Championship. Here you go." So JC versus Lola the Adventurer versus Lilith Grimm for the Lockett's Championship, the vacated now Lockett's Championship. We're going to start with Coastal because I don't even remember where we left off last time. The show has gone off the rails pretty quickly.
This was 3 different styles in a match, and everybody used their uniqueness to their advantage. Lilith used her power game early, came in and just like a house of fire, taking out JC, really starting to work over Lola. JC was interesting in this whole match because it was a different offense than we've seen from JC, or even back before she went to the dark side and was Christy James. We usually see a lot of striking, a lot of taking the offense to people. She was sitting back and picking her opportunities, and that is what ultimately led her in the end to win this match. While Lilith is systematically beating on Lola, and Lola is fighting back for all she has, JC, if you look, is in the corner, observing, looking for her chances. Takes them quite frequently. You see every once in a while either Lola or Lilith hit a big move, and then JC comes in with a strike and tries to get a pinfall. This was an extremely smart match that JC wrestled this whole time. She knew that she didn't have to overexert, and she could pick her times. Lola, I don't know what more Lola has to do. At this point, she is that actress that has been nominated for so many awards and gets nominated but just doesn't win. And unfortunately for Lola, she has done so much this past 6-8 months to put herself in those top billings in that Lockett's division, which is getting very crowded with talent. And it's a triple threat match, or it's outside interference, or it's something like this, or it always seems like there is something standing in her way. And then you have JC, who, she could have been very upset at this point. She could have had an absolute meltdown in the ring and started attacking everyone because she was named champion, and then all of a sudden she's in a triple threat match where she doesn't have to get pinned to lose that, or didn't even get it. Like, I just felt at that point she did an incredible job managing her anger and her aggression. We get to the end of this match, we see a burning hammer, and then we see an absolute just shot of a knee to Lilith from JC. One of the best knee strikes I've seen her throw. Knocks Lilith to the apron. JC goes for the cover, and then we see our favorite little marionette puppet, Noelle Summit, come from under the ring and grab Lilith by the hair to make sure she doesn't break that pin up. 1, 2, 3. We have a new Lockettes champion. It is JC. And the Lockettes division needs to be very worried, Marky, because the Asylum now has power and a new member, and they look very, very well worked. Marky, what does Noelle joining the Asylum with JC
up,
winning
Davey
the title
B?
mean?
You know, I really think it's going to add a lot to both JC and Noelle. JC now is going to be the leader of this Lockettes division. She has the title. She had this triple threat match tonight with two top contenders in Lola the Adventurer and Lilith Grimm. We saw Lilith come out and just bypass Lola completely and just start throwing haymakers at JC. And then that's when Danger Dean does the good idea of making it a triple threat match for the title. And during the course of the match, we see how fired up Lilith is, but you see JC, just like you said, the stoicism that she presents, one move at a time, very, very methodical with her movements, no wasted motion. If you're Noelle Summit, if you're the marionette, this is something you can really learn from. The poise and the confidence, almost to the level of arrogance that JC shows, but she backs it up every single time that bell rings. This is something that can really guide Noelle along. Now, Lilith could have been somebody that really guided Noelle as well. But at the same time here, there's that unspoken element of Salem Wolf in the background that has this spell cast, and it's like permeating down through the Lockettes division. Lilith has one of the most uphill battles to climb in the Lockettes division right now. And Noelle, I really think this sits her pretty in the Asylum. She's got people to learn from. She's got Salem Wolf behind her, who she seems to be entranced with, that this is somebody that can carry her forward. I mean, we talked about Noelle Summit, the juvenile delinquent, being the one that needed to add a little aggression, a little spice, a little pop, should I say, to the offense. Here, we get somebody like JC who can teach her that speed, that pop, but at the same time, that stoicism, that methodical approach to a match going back and forth. And I think that's huge for Noelle. Sunday, tell me about where Lilith Grimm goes from here after a title match like this, where she comes up short and it's Noelle that costs her. Tell me about Lilith Grimm going forward right now.
Before Sunday goes, real quick, I'm sorry. We have the Remy D in chat over in Twitch.
D is in chat.
Hey, all right.
He is in the house.
Yep.
Yeah, Remy.
Oh my God, what are you doing? Will you stop?
Yeah, Dlo, hi. Welcome to Dudes and Belts. Thanks for coming. I hope you stay to the end of the show, but probably not.
And a quick shout out to I Love Pro Wrestling 1234 with a tier 1 subscription over on Twitch. Thank you very much.
Yes, we do.
Thank you, I love pro wrestling.
All right.
Wow.
We're going to forget that even happened. Yeah, okay. Sunday, go right ahead.
So we talked about this earlier in the number one contenders match.
What's up, McDonough?
Where, Lilith had something going, thinks she's about to win, and then something happens and Noelle ends up costing her. And now
Miss
it happens
Angel as
again,
well.
and this time not for a number one contendership, but for the actual Lockettes championship, which has eluded Lilith for so long. If I'm Lilith, I'm doing nothing but trying to end what is Noelle Summit at this point. That's my next step in my life, is to make sure Noelle Summit does not move, can't walk the next day after I can get my hands on her. So I don't envy Noelle Summit with what Lilith has going through her mind, but Noelle does have now JC and Salem Wolf to rely on to help her out and to kind of hide behind. So, and now we got JC as your new Lockettes champion. When, like Mikey said, Lilith was a half a second away from getting that pin. And we should talk about Lola again here too. Lola put on a great effort, and there was times when we thought she might be the new Lockettes champion during this match too. But I mean, I think the true story that comes out of this is Lilith, the Asylum, and Noel.
What's
so
up, Ned?
I'm curious what's going to happen, but yeah, Lilith is going to be a stark raving mad at this point. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but Triple I, what's your thoughts, and what do you think? What do you think the next step is for Noel at this point?
Is he sweating?
I don't know. Please keep it PG for the love of God.
There's nothing wrong with sweat.
I'm just glistening. That's all. I'm glistening. You know.
My God.
But
All right.
so Sunday, to answer your question, before we get into what's next for Noel, I like to get into for what's next for Lilith and what's next for Lola. If that's okay, then I can go from there. The bulk of this conversation has been on JC winning the Lockets title and the Asylum and Noel. But to me, I think we can't lose sight of how great of a match this was. Despite the ending and the appearance by Noel, this was a banger, one hell of a match, a banger of a match. I thought, in my opinion, it was one of the top 3 matches of the night. I love this match, and when I was watching this whole match, to me, there was never any clear winner, in my opinion, at any point throughout the match. It could have gone any way at any time. No one had a distinct advantage. Right when you think maybe Lilith had an advantage, JC would come in and would interrupt things, or Lola would come in and interrupt things, or vice versa, or however you want to spin that. All 3 ladies gave one hell of a performance. A+ effort here. And another thing, guys, I want to point out that no one mentioned, if you've noticed, when in some of Lilith's previous matches lately, within the past month or so, she's shown a lot of emotion, a lot of empathy, trying to take care of her friends. Whether like Noel, for an example, Lola, when she faced Lola a week or 2 ago. She's showing emotion, doesn't really want to be hurt or hurt them. In this match, Lilith didn't care about emotions. She didn't care about empathy. She had one goal and one goal in mind, and that was to become that Lockets champion, the new Lockets champion. And it showed. It showed with her power maneuvers, her attention, not taking her eye off the ball one bit, and her aggressiveness. All 3 ladies were super aggressive in this match, but especially Lilith, because she had her eyes on the prize. Unfortunately, we saw what happened at the end, and that's what caused JC to win the match. But I just wanted to really give kudos to all 3 ladies in this match, because it was one hell of a match. As far as what happens with Noel now, I feel 2 things are going to happen. There's going to be 2 more scenarios after this. One, I think Noel is going to, you're going to have to face Lilith. You're going to have to pay your dues to Lilith, and God, good luck with that, because I would not want to go toe-to-toe with her under any circumstances. I'm all set. So good luck with that, Noel. I don't know what's going to save you in this scenario. Number 2, nothing to do with Noel, but guys, earlier in the evening, Lola the Adventurer became the number 1 contender for the Lockets Championship. And I know this was a triple threat match, but knowing that she's associated with POS, and POS is going to come up with some type of legal, what's what I'm looking for, shenanigan. That's actually good. A legal shenanigan for this. He's going to try to pull a ploy, in my opinion, to get a one-on-one match with JC for the Lockets title, because it was a triple threat. It wasn't a fair one-on-one match. So just something to keep in mind. That's what I think happens next. I think we will see a match between those 2. And if we do, that will be one hell of a match as well. So there's a lot to look forward to right now in this Lockets division.
We don't need POS to get involved anymore, I don't think.
I agree. I do not disagree at all. I'm just predicting what might happen, knowing how POS operates, with his clients.
All right, did I miss anybody? I think we covered everything. Yaden and Dlo, do you have anything on this triple threat match for the Lockets Championship?
I don't want to go in again, just go back over the match again. I'll just say this. I'll talk about the Lockets division in itself. I think this match just turned the heat up on the entire division. And if you look up and down it with JC and with Lilith and with Lola and Noel, and you go to Skylar Slice, and hell, my personal dark horse there, Midnight, I think the Lockett's division has just had the heat turned up on it by 1,000 degrees, and I'm gonna sit back as a fan and watch where it goes next because, man, it's gonna be fun.
Speaking of Midnight, we just have a question in the YouTube chat. How would a JC versus Midnight match look?
Ooh.
Take a nuclear bomb and put it in the center of a wrestling ring.
Yeah, that one, I'd buy a ticket for that one. Like, literally, I'd buy a ticket. That could be, there's no, that's even money in Vegas. That's even money.
Knockdown, drag out is how you describe that.
Slobber knocker.
Yaden, you have anything?
Not really much to add. You guys kind of covered everything. The Lockhouse division's getting even more interesting. They've been put on notice with JC back at the top of it. The Asylum has proven to not just be a quick flash in the pan, but whatever Salem Wolf's still doing over there is working. It's worked multiple times. Can JC be controlled for very long, however? And is JC even being controlled? Like, as I watched the dynamic of this, we saw a few weeks ago when he asked her who's next, and she said everyone. And just the way she said it, kind of was like, man, she's in control of the situation just from the way it appears from the outside. So I don't know what goes on there at the Asylum. I don't know what mind games Salem plays with people or how the mind games are played. We've seen how effective it was on Reagan. We've seen how obviously how effective it is on Noel. But JC's a whole different breed with a whole lot more experience, and she seems really in control of this darkness that you see her in. So I'm just curious to see how long this keeps up. You can't argue with the results of the Asylum, but JC is a cut above the rest, and the Lockett's division, we could see her standing atop of it for a long time.
Yeah.
I think after what we witnessed. So I'm just curious to see how the dynamic of the Asylum really continues.
All right.
It is interesting. Let me make one quick little point. Mercury said something very, very interesting, that JC being a different kind of animal. We saw it a couple of weeks ago when he did say who's next, and she said everybody. It's very different. Salem Wolf tells Reagan. He had control over Reagan. He would point and she would go that way. Same thing with Noel at this moment in time. JC, he asks. JC kind of goes and he follows behind her. He kind of, like, even in that moment when they were in that Asylum sequence, that dream sequence almost, when JC came out and just destroyed everybody, right? The orderlies and the guy with the baseball bat and all the other people that she just annihilated. He was sitting there just watching her with glee. Almost not like I made that, but this is with me. This is with the Asylum. This is with us. With Reagan and Noel, it was a wicked different vibe. Wicked different vibe than we see with JC. Good point, Mercury. That's a good point. Makes us think in a little different way.
All right. On to the main event of Aces Wild. And boy, what a main event it was.
This was.
Craig Fairley versus David Drake for the Rocky Mountain Pro Championship. And boy, I got to tell you right out here in front, Craig Fairley put on one hell of a show in the main event. Most definitely stepped up in this match. Very high on this guy.
Wicked. Yes. We saw him just the other night win the Aces Wild tournament last week on Charged. He earns this shot against David Drake. He comes out first and shows zero intimidation. When David Drake comes in, stares David Drake down for a good solid minute. The two of these guys stare each other down. Craig Fairley knows the position that he's in. And Dlo himself said it, that this is probably the biggest match he's ever had in his career, in a title match against that sick individual of David Drake, man. We've seen him show next to zero human emotion, no compassion, not even pain. He smiles when he's getting beat down half the time. We see more of that later on in this match, but Craig does the right thing. We've said it many, many times. When you're going up against these big guys, these Damon Aces, the Zamores, the David Drakes, you have to start fast. Do not let them come to you. Get there first. Get them down, knock them down, keep them down. Don't give them the opportunity. And Farrelly does a very good job. He starts out, he's going right after David Drake's legs, trying to take him out of his element. Drake is another one, works slow, methodical, gets you in the corner with a whole bunch of punches and strikes. Drake does eventually end up getting himself up, and that's exactly what happened. He dodges a big sling blade. We've seen Craig Farrelly loves use a sling blade, does it very, very well. Drake scouted it, got out of the way of it. Farrelly goes down. Drake picks him up right into the corner with the classic punches and the kicks and everything. Craig does a good job of firing back up with some of them martial arts palm strikes, kind of catching David Drake off his game a little bit. I don't know if David has faced somebody with the mixed martial arts background that Craig Farrelly has, but he was using it very, very effectively. Stick and move, palm strike, back off, big thrust kick, back off. Craig is doing a really, really good job. And you know what? We see it for the first time. There's a crack in the armor. We see David Drake kind of get frustrated. We see that anger look on his face, not the I'm in control that we're normally used to. He's frustrated. He gets a little bit upset, but then he turns that right into anger and just fierce aggression. Literally just deadlifts Craig Farrelly up. Craig had Drake in an armbar. Good, solid, tight armbar on the mat. Drake gets up and just brings Farrelly up with him and just slams him back down in a huge power bomb. Gets a near fall out of it. We're seeing these two guys go back and forth with each other like we really haven't seen anybody go back and forth with David Drake. Farrelly brought every bit of the fight into this. Drake hits some classic Drake offense. Big fisherman suplex, couple overhead suplexes, get a near fall out of it. Farrelly's kind of dazed in the middle of the ring, manages to get Drake to the outside after a moment. Big baseball slide on the outside, and they're going nuts on each other. He sees a big flying knee come off the apron, wraps Drake's arm off the barrels. Those barrels are proving to be pretty useful weapons at most times for some of the guys once they get outside. They're using the building very resourcefully, and it proved positive here for Craig Farrelly. Drake does regain a little bit, but ref Eli does another good job. Instead of counting the guys out when they're on the outside, he just keeps admonishing them to get back in the ring, get back in the ring. Eventually, the action does get back into the ring. Craig Farrelly comes in for a big, huge top rope knee drop. He wants to use that power, gets Drake down, comes off for the knee drop, misses. Drake getting out of the way. Drake comes at him. This was sweet. If there's one part of the match you want to watch that's like a difference maker in the match, as Drake is coming back off the ropes, Farrelly hits a snapdragon, like back suplex, real quick, real down, stuns David Drake. Haven't seen it. And here comes that like aggression, that frustration look on his face that he hasn't put this guy away yet. Usually we don't see a David Drake match go this long whatsoever. But Craig Farrelly's bringing all of it, man. This guy was the right guy to win Aces Wild. He was the guy that was going to bring, I think, the biggest fight to David Drake out of what we saw. He brought all of that lion heart with him. Drake, at this point, turns it into like double level anger that we had earlier before. Some big, huge clotheslines. Goes for the mandible maul. Gets the mandible maul locked in. And to say one more of the biggest things for Craig Farrelly that we can say out of all of this, he's the first and only man to ever get out of the mandible maul. Big insecurity, got a kick, got some space. But David Drake is just far too strong. Comes right back after Craig's coming off the top rope, catches him in like a powerbomb position, puts him down, gets the mandible maul again. Craig just won't tap. He just won't tap out. Drake picks him up again. And we see the power bomb, and I think a lot of Craig's back caught the knee. How we like to see him usually use that like that big like rock bottom type move, that Uranagi onto the knee. I think he caught some of the knee, and Craig went out. You saw his eyes roll in the back of his head. Ref stopped the match immediately. David Drake is still your RMP champion. However, we saw a couple things about David Drake that are wicked noteworthy. I talked a lot about Craig Farrelly. Number one, we saw him finally show some frustration and a little bit of human emotion. He's not an automaton. He's not a robot. He's a human being. Number two, he may have walked out a little bit worse for the wear. Anybody else? You guys catch him clutching at his knee a couple times? there is the ability to put a dent in that armor, and Craig Farrelly showed everybody how tonight. Even in a losing effort, 9 times out of 10, and you put that match in, that effort in a title match, you win that match. David Drake is just a different and unique individual, and tonight it was David Drake's night. Sunday, we've seen Craig Farrelly, we've talked to him in person. Now we see where he's been from like milestone till now. In these past 6 months, he upped his game so much. He's in a championship match. Do you think he could have even wrestled any better of a match, or did he wrestle the perfect match that he possibly could have?
I'm sure there were a couple things that he would go back and change here and there, you know, where he got caught, where Drake kind of caught him here and there. But overall, I think you called it right, where he put together a fantastic match against obviously extremely tough opponent. He's an RMP champion who's been showing, like you said, no ability to show emotion or pain or anything, and he's the first guy to kind of bring that out on him. I mean, I think that speed and technical ability that Craig Farrelly has is something that might be the blueprint for Drake. I think that might be whoever's next in line for David Drake might want to take some of what Craig Farrelly did and add it to their repertoire, even if it's not their normal. Because it looked like there was some moments and some parts of his strategy that were working and were breaking down Drake, and moments where I really thought we were going to have a new RMP champion. Obviously, in the end, Drake was too much, and that Mandible Mahal was. Yeah, he just kept going to it and kept forcing it until finally it was over. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason Craig Farrelly is Mrs. Sunday Night Save is one of her favorites in RMP, if not her favorite RMP. And you know, things like this are the reason. The heart he shows, he's got the heart of a lion. You know, and he was very, very, very impressive Friday night. But again, like we said, Drake retains. Drake keeps it going, and who knows who's next in line for him? And I mean, there is, you know, people that have rights to shots and things like that. So we'll see how that pans out. I mean, what were your thoughts on Craig Farrelly's performance and how Drake came out of it? Triple I. You think this is a little bit of a blueprint, or do you think it was more of an anomaly?
This is a blueprint for many ways. One, as Marky said it to begin, we finally got to see some emotion out of this robot named David Drake. So who else has been able to do that since Drake won the title? So he kind of accomplished the goal right there. Two, you saw a weakness that David Drake that's been exploited by Farrelly on Drake, and that's that knee. He was hobbling back. He was limping after the match was over. So now there's a weakness for David Drake. We know his next opponent knows where to target because of damage inflicted by Craig Farrelly. Number three, Farrelly, whenever that mandible maul is applied by Drake, the opponent immediately taps out. You're done. Craig Farrelly survived that, I believe, a couple times, at least one time with escaping it. So there's a blueprint right there to answer your question, Sunday, of how to survive that and potentially possibly escape that as well. And also, early in the match, guys, when Mark covered the match exceptionally well, I want to add one thing to that. And maybe I missed it. My apologies. But there was a point where Drake was smothering the face of Craig Farrelly. When you smother someone's face, and this is not the mandible maul, that wasn't it, but he was just smothering his face. And when you smother someone's face, you take away their vision and you take away their breathing as well, essentially. So you are limiting them in so many capacities right there, and it's very hard to come back from that. Craig was able to escape that right away, and then just hit two snap suplexes out of nowhere. Name me someone else that's going to do that against David Drake after having that being done to you. I'll be waiting all night for that. So yeah, this was a blueprint for this. This was a great match. I know Craig Farrelly lost the match, but my God, he won in so many other ways, guys. Won in so many other ways, and I'll let Coastal go over those ways in which he won.
I mean, couple things, and I'll keep it brief because we covered it so much. the ways in which he won, he showed us not only a physical blueprint, which we talked about. That physical blueprint isn't nothing if you don't have the heart and the determination and the absolute zero fear that Craig Farrelly showed. Early on in the match, he gets Drake, and Drake goes to the ropes, and he looks at him and goes, "You need the ropes? Need help getting up? Come on, let's go." Like, no back down. He went in there against a guy who literally has made people disappear. We've not seen Owen in a very long time. He left in a body bag. We don't know where he is. I hope he's okay.
Very good.
And Ray Leone, Craig Farrelly stood there and said, "Bring it to me." That physical blueprint we have talked about how to go against David Drake means nothing if you don't have that level of no fear and heart that Craig Farrelly had.
You all set, Coastal, with that?
Yeah. Yep.
Dlo and Yaden to wrap it up.
I'll say this. I know two things for sure after watching that match. We saw the birth of a genuine superstar in here in Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling and Craig Farrelly after what he did in that match with David Drake. He showed fight, he showed integrity, he showed the will and the want to, and he showed all the intangibles of what a champion should be. In my opinion, it's not a matter of if, but when Craig Farrelly is the Rocky Mountain Pro champion. The second thing is David Drake is human. And I said it, if he can be cut, if he can bleed, he can die. He showed that he is not this just, well, he was forced to show he is not just this straightforward great white shark here in Rocky Mountain Pro, and the fact that there are other sharks swimming with him. If I were every other competitor in the Rocky Mountain Pro locker room, I'm calling Craig Farrelly and I'm saying thank you. Thank you for showing us the way to try to fight this monster.
Yaden, what are you thinking from Drake just being a graduate of the Al Snow Wrestling Academy about a year and a half ago to where he is right now?
He's made quite a transformation. But, we got to go back a little ways. Like this crazy sociopath who seemed to have no emotion or no feelings had shown emotion and feelings in the past. I mean, don't forget that when he was tagging up with Owen Easton, he showed plenty of emotion there, especially when those tag titles were taken from them and they were stricken from the record. So the guy's still in there somewhere, and I think that's what we saw. Like the human being, the soul of David Drake still exists. He has just pushed it so far back into his consciousness, and he's zoned out, and he's ignored his emotions and his feelings and checked out of the world that we all inhabit emotionally. But that doesn't mean that his emotions and his soul are gone. He basically showed he still does have a soul. There's still feeling in there somewhere. How much of it, I don't know. Because you talk about Coastal, you said we haven't seen Owen in a long time. We haven't seen the human being that was David Drake in a long time. I mean, he basically put himself in a body bag, kidnapped himself, and through that somewhere that we haven't seen. So this is the first time I think we've seen that again. And I don't think it's something we've really thought about, because now it's been long enough to where this is just the David Drake we're used to, but we forget there was a person that everybody looked at as a person with integrity and a hard worker and a gentleman that just embodied everything we stood for here, and then he killed that person. So I think we saw that there is vulnerability. The line, if it bleeds, we can kill it, that the Dlo said, like, that is it. We know there's vulnerability there. We saw it. And you saw him grab his leg as he was leaving, when I don't think he thought it could be seen, because he was still trying to not show any vulnerability, but he couldn't help it because Craig Farrelly did that much damage to him. So I think it is definitely a blueprint from this point forward, not an anomaly. And Craig Farrelly's a superstar, man. He's showing a huge surge in his quality of wrestling and his competitive nature, and I do believe that we all kind of saw something there, but he showed people what they what they were seeing as a future star. He got there, I think, just a lot faster than we expected with this rise through Aces Wild, and then of course the showing against David Drake.
Anything else on that main event?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Drake is still the champion, and that reign continues. That reign of terror.
Final thoughts on Aces Wild as a whole.
Can Dlo and I give this to you, because we do have to get out of here, if you guys don't mind if we go first to kind of wrap this thing up.
No.
To me, Aces Wild is an example of how Rocky Mountain Pro continues to grow and continues to make its mark in the professional wrestling world here. It's showing that its stars can compete with any other promotion in the world and put on quality matches just like anybody else. It has production, it has everything, and to me, Aces Wild is the stepping stone to the next level of what Rocky Mountain Pro is and will become.
And I agree with that. This place has been in a nonstop growth cycle since its inception, with a couple stalls here and there, but we've never gone away, never stopped our focus on quality improvement. And Aces Wild was just another example of that. And kicking off 2023 right, we saw a lot of people grow as well. Like we were just talking about Craig Fairley, and I think this is going to be the biggest year to date. The great thing about this place is I say that every year. This is going to be our biggest year ever, and it always ends up being our biggest year ever.
It always ends up being. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
We keep rolling forward, and we're very thankful to have you guys along the ride with us. We appreciate you covering everything and thinking enough of us to want to be part of the growth of Rocky Mountain Pro, because you guys aren't on the outside. You're on the inside covering this thing, and we appreciate you growing with us. And thank you very much for having us on tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is my first time on, and it won't be my last time. You guys are professionals. You guys know how to laugh and have fun. But then when it comes down to breaking down a show, you guys are breaking it down exceptionally well, except for Triple I there. Everyone else is doing an amazing job.
Too much tea.
All right. We are so close to ending the show. We don't need to extend it another 15 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Dlo, for those kind words. Seriously, it means a lot.
Yeah, thanks for those kind words, Dlo. Greatly appreciated.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're out of here. Thank you very much, and we'll listen to you wrap up the rest of it.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was fun.
All right, boys. Final thoughts real quick, and then we got to wrap it up. Chats, I know that we didn't get a chance to do the Q&A. You heard it from the man himself. It won't be the last time you see Dlo Brown on any of these Dudes and Belts live shows. We'll have him on again. We'll actually dedicate a show specifically for Dlo Brown when we're not covering a big pay-per-view or something, and we can really dig his brain. How about that?
Hello.
So,
If he's up for it, that sounds like a dream.
Yeah. I'll start off really quickly. Just kind of go off of what Dlo and Yaden was saying about, especially Yaden when he was saying, this is our biggest year yet, and it always is. To piggyback off that, it's the truth. Look at it. We're in January of 2023. A year ago, January 2022, we weren't talking about Noel Summit a lot. We weren't talking about Lola the Adventurer a lot, or even David Drake or Craig Fairley. Just to give you guys a few examples. 1 year later, and look what we're doing right now. We are talking about them off of one of the biggest pay-per-view events, and two of them from the main event, and then the other two are in line for that Lockets Championship, and they continuously put on banger and banger and banger of a match, and their characters have just evolved so much, and just the transformation that you've seen and the evolution that you've seen from these four people, just as an example, from a year ago to today, speaks volumes to what Eden was saying, essentially. This will be our biggest year yet. And those are some examples of how this will be the biggest year yet. And a year from now in 2024, we'll be talking about maybe four other competitors that we weren't talking about as much right now, and so on and so forth. That's how RMP grows. That's how we keep this ball rolling, and there's momentum going, and that's how we keep That's why RMP is one of the best wrestling promotions out there. Reasons like this, competitors like that.
Sunday?
Shows like this.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh.
Sorry. No, go
Well,
ahead.
I thought we were just going to keep going.
You
In
keep
shows
going.
like this, they set the pace.
At this point,
Sure.
the show's been off the rails about 15 times. It is what it is. Go right ahead.
That's true. No, in a show like Aces Wild, even the ignitions and the charge leading up to it, this is how you start a year off right. You had a great pay-per-view. You had some fantastic matches on that pay-per-view, and it sets a lot of these men and women in motion for the 2023 that we're going to see. Lilith's path to redemption through the asylum is going to be epic. David Drake running around for as long as he wants with that title is probably going to be something we're going to see. Where does Damon Ace go from here with the #1 contendership, basically a money in a bank in his pocket? That's a dangerous man to be giving that level of privilege to. But granted, he won it, but that's still a dangerous man to have that. Rocky Mountain Pro is poised to have one hell of a 2023 this year. And Yaden was right when he said it. Each year that we have been a part of the Dudes and Belts now, this is year 3, I do believe, that every year he has said it.
Next
and
week.
every year it has come to fruition. Yeah, close enough. Every year it's come to fruition that this particular year has been better than the last year and is going to be their best year ever. We've seen it happen twice. Something tells me stinking around here, we're going to see it thrice. I like counting to 3. I'm a referee. This is year 3. This is going to be a big, big year.
I absolutely have 2 really questions that are lingering in my mind after Aces Wild. One, they have to do with 2 people in one match. One, we all saw David Drake limp off. Damon Ace saw it too.
Yep.
I guarantee it. You don't want to give that man a bullseye. And the other part in that match, I think Boss is in for a gigantic change. And I don't know if we're going to like it. I think he's going to go to Choppa City and talk to Teebs. And I think this might have been Teebs looking at him going, remember how I told you you have to change? You cost yourself a match because you didn't. Now what are you going to do?
Not just a match, a title shot.
I know. I'm worried. I'm worried Boss is going to go down that path of nut shots.
Yeah. Maybe he'll do something a little different so he doesn't steal the gimmick. But so just to kind of go back on like with where everything's heading forward from here for RMP, it's January, so let's talk about future. Going forward, you guys mentioned like Drake. It's a year and a half into this, and look where he is, and so like a lot of the young guys are stepping up big time and becoming big time stars. And then you could add in some of these out of towners that we've only seen for about a year or so now, like a Craig Fairley, that he's in and he's been a stud. And now you're getting guys like Dak Draper and Sledge. Look at what Sledge looks like now compared to when we saw him at Milestone. He's a different human being.
Awesome.
He's a different human being, man.
He and Nine both are just hot.
Yeah.
So like everybody seems to be motivated. Everybody seems to be motivated, and that's a good thing for everybody in RMP.
All right. That is going to conclude our review of Aces Wild of 2023.
Now it's time for Dudes and Belts After Hours?
Yeah, sure. Let's go another hour and a half talking about the D the entire time. It's great.
Okay, bye, Triple I. I know you're going to bed.
And you know what? I didn't have an Italian ice last night either.
Uh-oh.
So I am due for one tonight because I was out until 4 o'clock in the morning this morning.
Why?
I don't want to know. Don't ask him.
Triple I had some. Triple I went out and had fun.
Okay,
So-
we don't want to know.
Oh,
That's
brother.
not get fun.
He's got a lot more $20 bills than he did yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Just
I
gonna
give
move
you-
right along there.
I give you a 2 for real quick. Nobody knows more about the D. Nobody knows more about the D than Triple I.
Silence.
The Remy D.
Nobody.
Remy, you mean Remy D?
You watch all the matches. You love Remy's matches.
Of
Send it.
course. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Casanova pissed me off a little bit tonight when he started going after the referee.
Also,
I tried to put this all past me. I got to say this. I got to get this out. I tried to put all this past me. I know I was the biggest JK Pop opponent on this show ever since Coastal has like come back from the dark side over there. I tried to put all this past me and just be more of an unbiased journalist and give them less and less crap. Now, it's on. You started knocking the stripes. You started knocking the guys that are in there that are not competing. The guys that win you titles. Count the numbers for you. You're going to knock us? Stop.
Give him a break. He was highly concussed.
Refs can make your life hell. Don't mess with people who handle your stuff.
He's going to need a
All
map
right,
on how to get
all
to the
right.
winner from Lola.
All right.
Sorry, I had to get that out. That's been bugging me a while.
You good now?
Yeah, much
Good.
better.
Good, dude.
Got it all off my chest.
All right, ladies
that.
and gentlemen, that is going to conclude our show for this evening. Don't
Still doesn't
forget.
get it.
Yeah, I know he doesn't.
Yeah.
didn't
Oh,
get
I got it.
I will
Oh,
eventually.
now we got it. Now
I
you got the joke.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I got it. I had a lot. I had a lot going on in my mind. You know, I mean, there was a lot percolating throughout.
I don't even want to
Honestly,
know.
Honestly, Triple I, what I see in your mind is two squirrels playing poker, and one of them is like got 4 cards, and the other one's got 8. That's kind of what I see in your mind.
That's okay. As long as Triple I is winning and making money, that's all that matters.
All right.
I
All
knew
right.
that was going to come to a money.
All right.
Yeah.
And D is my favorite letter.
Oh
D for
my
dinero.
God.
Dinero, money in Spanish. Hello. Yeah.
Are you guys ready to close out the show? Or you want to talk for another half hour?
Close out the show.
Let's
Close
go.
out? Okay. So, guys, just a reminder, this week and forevermore, Charge will be aired at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time every Tuesday night, followed by the Dues at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thursday on Ignition, same schedule, 6:15 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And the Dudes and Belts Reignited will be at the top of the hour at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is 10 a.m. on the East Coast. And Sunday will stay the same. So for all of us here on the Dudes and Belts Wrestling Chatcast crew, myself, Johnny Deathdrop, Coastal Crusader, Marky Pins, and the Sunday Night Savior, and that guy, Triple I. YouTube, we will see you guys next Tuesday, well, this Tuesday actually, for another episode of Dudes and Belts Recharge. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy, and we'll see you on the